Greetings and salutations. You are listening to the Into the North podcast, where we take a look at the competitive side of the Commander format, also known as CDH. I'm one of your hosts, Lyndon, aka Noobzors, and today I'm joined by my co-hosts, Matt, aka Null,
Welcome, everyone.
Reed, aka Sick Robot,
How you doing?
and Morgan, aka Spleenface.
What's up, everyone?
Oh wow, dude! It's like I haven't been gone for months. You know,
Almost.
it's all coming together.
I know it pretty well.
Yeah, so I guess we've got some housekeeping as per our usual stuff. So yeah, housekeeping. We've got a. Do we not? It's getting deleted.
Nope. Yep.
Thanks, Reed. Okay.
I read that as new topic, and I'm like,
note to the editor of the podcast. Just cut that. Cut all of that.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So
because this is definitely gonna get edited, not just dumped on
YouTube. In this episode, we're going to be doing a year in review, as is now a tradition. And I was listening back to some of the episodes I'd missed, and you guys had mentioned the 3-year anniversary passing, and this is crazy, man. Yeah, third year in review. Holy moly, fourth. Oh my god.
Wow.
Fourth.
Jeez. That's true. Yeah, we did.
Remember the first one that we did half drunk in Matt's
basement?
basement?
Matt's basement? Yeah,
it was great. It was fantastic.
That was good.
With a single mic.
It's my basement?
Yeah. That would be. I wish we'd been able to do in person. I really do feel like the chemistry and talking to you guys. I miss you guys, man. So. It was great to see hang out in a tier 1 con and stuff, but just it is what it is.
We actually haven't seen each other inside of Canada for unless you count being at the airport or the drives there, but yeah.
No, we had a dinner.
We did have a dinner.
We did have dinner.
Oh
actually.
With Nathan's, yeah.
It's actually.
True.
Also, yeah, I do.
Is viable.
Shoutouts to Nathan. Got a marketing job, product manager.
Oh,
something.
Something like that. Social media marketing stuff.
Dude, he can correct us.
I guess to hang out on Twitter and shitpost all day. Sounds like a sweet game.
And get paid.
That's paid for doing things I was already doing.
A real innovation. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess as per tradition that we did, I don't think we did in the first one. I guess it's like a 3-year tradition at this point. We have our meme names for the year. So we're gonna go over some of the meme names we had last year. I guess we can kind of talk about them a bit if we want. And then we're gonna get into our meme names that we have for this year. So I guess I'll kick things off. So last year for 2020, we had Year of Commander. I guess let's do 3 at a time. So we had Year of Commander, Year of the Janky Webcam Setup, and Year of Consult. So I think Year of Commander was the WotC had called it the Year of Commander, right?
Although I
did recall that.
Yeah. Some of the plans got scaled back a little bit because, events was a problem.
Yeah.
But it was supposed to be the Year of Commander before it even started. And we got some stuff.
I think we got that.
And then those events kind of led into the Year of Janky Webcam Setups.
Yeah,
which
much.
Has carried into this year.
It has changed.
And this looks like it's going to be carrying on into 2022.
The year of when can I unglue my laptop from this set of rulers?
Yeah. Yeah. I got a nice arm off of Amazon so I could have a webcam, and then I just didn't even play much webcam. So yeah. Okay. So our next 3 from 2020.
Yeah. Year of the can't be countered. Year of the it totally can. All right. Year of the hot take. Well,
that was because deflecting spawned Dovin's Vita, right?
Yeah.
Just immediately.
Weren't pretty last year, but
wait, what was? Oh, was it Veil?
Maybe it was Vale.
No, Vale was older.
Or sorry, I guess. Wait, was
SWAT and Fierce were 2020, I think.
yeah?
Right?
Sorry, not
Yeah.
Veto, but yes.
Yeah, I guess just
I guess it was Vale and
SWAT
then
then.
SWAT.
yeah.
Why did we have Year of the Hot Take? What was? Do you guys remember that?
We do have a lot of meme names from
Yeah.
last year.
We do. I looked over this. There's like this is a lot of names.
Oh man, this next one's good.
We have to re-reference.
Oh
this
man, if
one.
only
Oh,
if only
God.
we could have Zach on to announce this one. This would be ideal. Okay, read Morgan.
I'll announce it. It's the first of all we have the year of medium green dying, we have the year
Yeah.
of Crom, and we have
Can we get
year
Can
of
we get some F's in
determinants.
chat, please? Can we get some F's in chat for medium green dying?
Yeah, I'm definitely.
Yeah,
Thank you.
No, I'm not.
Thank you.
yeah.
Morgan.
Then we had the year of people overhyping Red, the year of the Archon, and the year of oh god, why did they print that?
Yeah, no, checks out.
Yeah.
We had the year of the turn 2, year of the breach, year of the oof. Yeah, I mean those all kind of go together.
Yep.
Certainly.
I feel like Year of the Turn 2 didn't really unleash until Cody.
Yeah. Whenever we
So-
thought the turn 2s were, it's
Yeah.
just it's
No.
nothing. Yeah.
I mean, turn 2 is in quotes because
Yeah,
There
you
were
could
not that
unquote the
many.
Turn 2
Oh,
for this
okay,
year.
yeah, sure.
You can take the quotes away.
The year of consistent turn 2 wins. Yeah. I swear, guys, it's consistent turn 2 win. I goldfished it a bunch. I didn't keep any records, but
But you
just
know.
trust me, bro. Trust me, bro.
All right. The year Fundex died. The year Dorks died. The year of playing the wrong hate. You know what's great? I just love that the year Fundex died is finally over.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, I had a lot of fun playing decks that I just wanted to play this year, so you know. I mean, I also had a lot of misery playing against Cody over and over again. But,
yeah,
Don't worry, I had a
was
lot of
definitely
misery.
mistake.
I had a lot of misery playing Cody over and over again.
It was
this
definitely a
time.
mistake for the only time you were actually like reasonably consistently active to line up with
Yep. That
the
testing.
Cody testing.
yeah. And then we got these last 3, I believe.
Yeah, we got Year of Neoform, which is I don't know what sparked that. I guess just Neoform being played and stuff. Year of Push Designs, yep, and Year of Special Editions.
I think also the recent printing of Opposition Agent and Hull Breacher definitely pushed
Oh
the
yeah,
Neoform.
that would have done it.
Yep.
And
You know, I feel like Year of the Neoform might be a interesting one for 2022. Maybe not as a whole, but at least for Tassiger with the Hullbreaker Horror and Toxtrill. And that's those 2 cards coming out in the same set really kind of making Neoform look like
I mean,
juicy
it definitely
again.
made like Pod Tassiger an actual thing rather than just like a meh thing where you
Yeah,
get,
I mean, yeah, that
you have a
was we were waiting
Nezahal and
for
that's what you get. It's
that deck
do you
was
need
waiting
something
for a
to-
target.
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
And it got 2 really good ones.
It got 2 very good ones. I do love as well though that when Toxtrill got printed, everybody was just like, yeah, I mean, like it's fine, but like whatever, and collectively just missed the clause where it's every end step instead of just yours.
Yeah. Oh
And
my
it's just like,
God.
oh yeah, never mind, that's not okay.
Okay, so then we can move on to our meme names that we have for 2021. So I guess let's do them one at a time this time, so we can each go over them, and then I guess the person who posted them can give their little spiel. So first we have Year of Supplemental Cards -- Year of the Bling.
Yeah, I put that. I don't know if there's actual data backing that up, but I feel like we've just seen a lot of alternate arts. So kind of hence the bling. But I guess this is Year of Special Editions to Electric Boogaloo. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean this kind of relates to I guess not necessarily completely just supplemental cards. But I've got one later on that's sort of related to just the sheer amount of sets and things coming out. But yeah. So next up,
Yeah, I put Year of Console to Electric Boogaloo because it's still just as good as it was,
Oh yeah.
if not better.
is it 2 at this point? Is it not? Is it not? Or is
No,
it, are we on the trilogy
is-
or the?
Well, I
Yeah.
feel like every year before it was a Flash Hulk year, so
That's
yeah,
fair.
kind
That's true. Yeah.
Maybe Year of the Breach. Maybe like last year was Year of the Console. This year's Year of the Breach.
Last year was Year of the Breach, as we've
That's
outlined
true.
it.
Actually.
Yeah. I know it all blends together, man.
Yeah.
That's
What even is time? Let's be real.
Who knows?
Okay, and this is my next
Oh.
one. Yeah, I've got a cat here. I can read this
Unfortunately,
one out.
stream nobody gets to hear Cat, because Morgan tends to edit it out most of the time. I feel like, but
It's
you
there.
get to see it this time.
Okay, well, we're breaking order, but Year of the Dorks lived, which is kind of hilarious that we're talking about Toxroll, but I feel like dorks have just gone unpunished.
2022 is going to be the year that Dorks died again.
Dorks died again.
And we've got. I mean, are Reed, Morgan? Are you guys just not following the sequence
Uh-huh.
here?
Oh
Sorry.
well,
I
no,
thought
I
we were
thought
supposed to
we were
go
gonna have...
in order.
Yeah,
here.
we
Let's
didn't
go.
write it in order. All right, we'll do it this way.
No, but
Next
we're
up-
reading them out, and then
all right.
the person
Next
chimes
year,
in.
next year we got Year of the Survival.
Yeah, that was me. Turns out that Survival of the Fittest, good card, and people often don't respect it. And it won me 3 tournaments, took me to the finals of a couple others. It won Minsk tournament, or it was in the Minsk deck. It was in Killstar's Hermit Pod deck. It's been in a lot of decks that did really well in tournaments this year.
So when you were playing with your survival, were you doing a lot of binning Razaketh most of the time, or how much of it was Hulk? And then
None of it was
another
Hulk,
question I have.
but it certainly did some shenanigans in my Blue Pod deck. The finals ended because I had my I had a line with survival. I wound up drawing cards that I didn't need to use it, but and then in a couple of games, I did some stuff where it was like discard a creature, find Dockside, play Dockside, discard a creature, find like Felidar Guardian, flick at the Dockside,
Yeah.
discard a creature, find Kiki or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just a recurable tutor.
Yeah, I mean, I used it a lot with. I mean, it's obviously a staple in Gitrog, but I mean, when I was playing Anafenza, like way back in Hulk times, and I remember just going for the Razaketh into Loyal Retainers, and then this year they printed because Loyal Retainers, one of the benefits of it was that it was hard to counter, right? And if you had like a cavern or something,
that is still a benefit of it.
it's still a benefit. But now they made one that's just straight up uncounterable with Priest of Felrites. And I was wondering if you've gotten any experience with that yet.
Not as such, no. I've toyed around with it in brewing, but I haven't had cause to play it.
It is a bit expensive. It like 5 isn't free, especially like green to tutor up the reanimation, green to bin the reanimation, green to bin the priest, and then 5 to activate.
5 colors you can just end with Dockside, which
that is fair.
I mean, they can. It's not.
I guess you can
necessarily better than
you do like ESG or something.
You can end with ESG to make it 4,
Yeah.
but it's still like 7 mana total a lot of the time if you're not ending with Dockside.
I mean,
But-
generally,
usually you're
don't
doing this
win
Yeah,
ESG.
you're splitting it
Yeah,
over multiple turns, but it's still like a fair amount of mana. That being said, I mean, still, we've seen a lot this year, especially. I think just stuff being uncounterable or like stapling interactive effects onto creatures is just like apparently good enough to just like completely brick most people's interaction at this point. So,
Okay, now I lost where we are. I'll just kick things off.
We are,
Uh,
Matt, we are getting
I think
a
it's-
lot of requests to show the cat.
I think it's my turn to read this one out. This
Oh,
was
yeah.
also
Okay,
mine.
okay.
Yeah.
Cat
the
was on
year
there,
of-
guys.
The year of playing the right hate. We've seen a massive uptick in rule of laws in particular, null rods and collectors to a lesser extent, but still there. Plus the occasional, Thalia or things like that. And we've discovered that it's not actually that difficult to make a meta very hostile to the super all-in turbo decks.
Yeah, I mean, even just like Deafening Silence and Root Maze tends to do a lot. Yeah, there are just a lot of like one pieces or one card pieces of fate that just yeah, you shut those decks out.
Yeah, and there's just really no deck that's, or at least it's hard to find a deck that is perfectly resilient to all the different axes that people are attacking with stacks.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's just which is I think is healthy place to be. So next we have the Year of Commander Legends, which obviously didn't come out in 2021, but I think it's really appropriate because we only had Commander Legends for like a month and a half in 2020, and it was pandemic, and so people were or at least peak pandemic, and so people were having difficulty like meeting up in person to do drafts, and like it was just a kind of a weak launch for something that
was so big,
was so
Yeah.
super impactful, and was like touted to be a super impactful set. And really what we saw is over the course of 2021 so much exploration of especially all the different partner combinations, in fact a lot of things from Commander Legends are still not completely explored or completely refined. Everything's still or many things are still a work in progress. New things are coming out all the time. It's quite amazing.
Which
Yeah.
segues us into our next year of Partners Continued Redux Part 2. I feel like we're finally getting, I don't know about the tail end, but we're definitely getting like different brews with Commander Legend partners than we did when it was originally spoiled.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, at least these are the healthy partners rather than the
ones that are
just
going to stick
year
around.
Of,
I
yeah,
think.
exactly. Like rather than year of like the fucking 4-color partners, like just you.
I think one thing that we were all very hesitant about with Commander Legends was the introduction of new partners, and we'd seen what partners had done to our meta already, and we've done an episode way back on the partner problem or the Thrasher's Timna problem, kind of just ragging on partners. But I would say that well, we were kind of hesitant and cautious coming out of Commander Legends. It seems like things went more or less all right. Nothing
disagree.
really. You think things are as bad as they were with previous partners?
I think they're worse than they would be in a world where we didn't get those partners.
Okay, that's interesting. I mean, I guess it's an improvement in that maybe not everyone is on the same page. Whereas it was very unanimous previously. Whereas I think that I think that people, it's to me what I think partners, the mechanic itself is certainly problematic. But what I care about a lot is meta diversity and I'd say mechanically unique commanders. And I know people hate on Quark Sakashima. I am not a huge fan of playing against the deck, and the deck doesn't necessarily appeal to me that much. But I really like the how mechanically unique it is, and it's doing something pretty interesting.
Oh, to be clear, I think there are some good partners that we got. Like, I think that sure, Kirk Sakashima's cool.
I think Sakashima in general is just like pretty.
Yeah, I think that various Sakashima decks are cool. I think that like the things that I think are not healthy is more like the Timna Malcolm, Timna Sakashima,
Yeah,
the
just
various like
Malcolm stuff.
Mardu, like Timna Jeska, Timna Rograk, Timna
This sounds
Dargo.
like a problem of Timna and not so much the newer
Well,
I
commanders.
mean, I think it's also like
amplifies
I
the
don't think
Timna
I
problem.
don't think Rograk, Silas, or even like Malcolm
Yeah.
Vile, were
Eh,
like.
I
particularly-
kind of like the Malcolm decks, to be honest. I think they're
I
all
like
pretty
Malcolm's
distinct.
one, yeah.
I think they're distinct, but I wouldn't call them healthy. I mean, like the optimal
I like
play
the Malcolm
pattern.
decks that don't have black in them.
I mean,
Honestly,
sure,
the
still though, like the
fact
optimal,
that there's multiple iterations of Timna decks instead of just the single Timna deck or the one of two Timna decks is honestly refreshing to me.
I mean, yeah,
um,
just the issue that I have.
Timna is Timna. It's a bit boring, but yeah.
The issue that I have with the Malcolm deck specifically is that the optimal play pattern for Malcolm is just like hard mull for mana to get Malcolm out turn 1, and then just use it as a mana engine, and then just do like other stupid stuff. And that's like pretty much how every Malcolm deck works. Is like you just mull for a Jewel Lotus, mull for like Mana Crypt, mull for whatever to get Malcolm out turn 1, and then just like connect a few times, and then use a lot of mana to do some big play.
I mean, that
Yeah,
sounds like you're
I guess-
describing a lot of CDH in general.
I don't
Like
think
a
that's
commander being
bad.
a strong mana engine or value engine,
I mean,
and your
I
entire game
don't
plan is
know. It's
focused
like-
on powering it out.
It's less about that. It's more
That
about
could have been Urza.
it's more
Yep.
there's not a lot of like dynamic play to Malcolm. It's just like my play patterns around Malcolm are I'm gonna play it as early as possible and just attack with it every turn rather than like having some like
I think
amount
it's-
of decision making involved.
It's frustrating that a 3-color deck gets to land their commander turn 1 off a Mana Crypt. Like that just feels bad.
Just because it
But
also then helps you ramp into your like potentially more expensive commander or other
Yeah.
commander. Like it's just I don't know.
Basically, I think the partner decks that are 2 new partners are fine, and the partner decks that are 1 old partner and 1 new partner, I could generally do without.
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
it's sort of
the
like
old partners are all.
it's sort of like it's weird because the new partners like dilute the old partners a bit, but they also like spread them out a lot more. So I feel like we're seeing a lot, like it's a lot of different decks, but we're still seeing a lot of the old partners, just a ton now, probably even more so than we did before, because a lot of the new brews now just involve the old partners, and it's like I feel like we might be seeing Timna more than ever, even though she's in more combinations.
Yeah, it's hard to say what like. Yeah, it's hard for me to come down necessarily where I think that if it's a plus or a negative that we're seeing more Timna. Obviously, that seems like we've seen enough Timna for a long time. But then, yeah, the fact that it is kind of mixing, matching different combinations, and the decks are doing different things is refreshing. So there's some pro, some con. Are hard to say definitively for me whether or not that's a pro or con overall. Next up we have this one, something that we can all relate to.
Yeah, we got the.
This is the weekend of Cody.
It's great. We couldn't give Cody the entire year because to be fair, he wasn't that impactful for the
Didn't get
entire,
the entire year.
We definitely had a weekend.
But I think we haven't failed to mention Cody in an episode since the weekend. So.
Oh yeah.
Read down his 15 minutes of fame.
Hey, I got an accolade. I'm fine with that. All-time CDH winnings leader, Sick Robot.
Real fame. Yeah.
Hey man, I'm closing in.
We'll see about that.
All right. The year of Dargo being better than Rograk.
I said it.
You said that.
I don't necessarily think that it's better, but I think that when the year started, we saw a lot of people putting Rograk like with everything, and saying like this, lets the deck be super fast and explosive, and it definitely does. And I think as the year has gone on, we've seen a lot more people working towards, or like not working towards, but a lot more people like experimenting with Dargo and realizing that it also does some absolute nonsense.
Oh,
in
yeah.
a bunch of different contexts.
100%. I just like Sacrifice with Dargo is just so dumb. It's a mana engine. Like
As is Neoform.
Yeah, people
is Survival of the
people were already
not
playing
Greater Good.
Yeah, people were already like
Here's
testing
the
out
good.
stuff like Sacrifice
Nice.
and like Tassiger, which is like an order of magnitude less easy to cast early than Dargo is. So just yeah, got some stuff. Next up, I wrote this. I'll give other people the next round, I guess. But this time it's the year of tournaments, but for real this time. I feel like at the end of last year we thought it was the year of tournaments because we got a few. Then this year we had an entire summer that was just like weekend tournament, weekend tournament, weekend tournament, weekend tournament, like all the way through. Crazy.
Yeah, I kind of regret only doing that one tier 1 con qualifier. I had a lot of fun doing that and getting to play Baral and doing somewhat decently with such a terrible deck.
Do you regret not getting up at 4 for the first
yeah,
one?
I mean, really.
Yeah. I mean, it's the one. I mean, everything obviously culminated in tier 1 con, which was just so amazing. And I know some people, Snooske in chat is talking about it, and you know, we met so many awesome people at tier 1 con.
And Snooske.
Yeah, it was just so much fun, and I really, I guess things are kind of in the air, or you know, there's I don't know, I guess the TOs had resigned or something, so it doesn't look like it's at least carrying on in the way it was this year, but
Yeah.
I hope something like it takes its place.
I hope they pick up.
It was just so much fun, and I would love that to be a yearly kind of like mecca for CDH players everywhere.
I will say that like as long like if they can like stay in contact with Nick, joking, and like not even do an event of that size, but just like stay in contact, maybe run like 1 or 2 events or just like that kind of stuff. And if we can have like a united sort of pool of TOs running events, not on that scale even, but just like consistently doing IRL events. I know Monarch's they've locked in, they're doing one next year. It'll just be fantastic.
Yeah, no, it really, I think almost the pandemic made me enjoy it even more because you know we'd been pent up for so long, and then finally getting to kind of get out and just meet people again, and you know, putting faces to names. It was just, yeah, it was. I really hope that it's not, you know, that this isn't the year of tournaments. You know, and we don't get to say that of next year and the year after. I hope this is a continuing trend for sure. I guess next up we have the year of Into the North settling in. Who put that one?
Yeah, we're getting there. we're in a bit of this discussion in pre-show, but yeah, I feel like obviously year 1 we didn't have our shit together. Year 2 we were sort of still figuring stuff out. I feel like now we're just like yes, we have had some issues, but I feel like we're getting to the point now where we're doing our stuff. We know what to do. We're actually like getting episodes out. We're having guests on, all that good stuff. We're sort of starting to settle in. And I'm sure next year will be even better once we start hopefully not missing deadlines as much. And
yeah, and I'll try to make it for more episodes. Although I will say that the one of the things that, you know, people say that, you know, oh, three people for a podcast, or you know, 4 is a crowd, or like I one of the things we had talked about initially when doing the podcast, one, we just want to have an excuse to all hang out with each other and talk. So I mean that was kind of one of the things from the beginning, but also it was like with 4 people, you're just free that if one person can't make it, or it's not gonna suffer severely because of it. So
yeah.
Yeah, and I think that kind of plan going pretty well. Cool.
Who's next? Well, I'm already talking.
I think it's you, but also Morgan, your camera's slipping again.
No, he's just slouching.
No, he's just slouching.
No.
Yeah. Gradually melting.
My camera cable comes dangerously close to my footrest, and so if I move my foot, I knock the cable and slowly
pull down. Yeah. All right, Matt.
All right. Year of the content. So exactly what you're looking at right now. The year of this.
This. This.
This.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like content took off this year. I don't know. Got a bunch of people doing stuff. Ian sort of picked up and continued to do his solo stuff. Playing with Power, obviously putting out a bunch of stuff. A lot of other CH content creators. Rebel is super active. I don't know. It just feels like more content-y than any year previously.
Dude, I mean, I was at a for Christmas meeting up with the family, and I found out that my cousin is also a CDH content creator too. And I just
Whoa.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And then and someone across the table also screamed, "I'm also a CDH content creator." It was truly a magical moment. Everyone.
So,
This is a
Benica,
Christmas
yes, we do
miracle.
say that.
Something,
We do
great.
say that every year, and I hope we continue to say that
Yeah.
every year. Like it's only a good thing to me that each year we get more content than the previous year. Like strict upside.
Except anyone who's competing with us and taking away from our viewers, honestly, they should just stop and just send everyone to us.
Yeah.
But aside from that, yeah, it's only
Yeah.
only
Hey,
benefit.
but how? Let's be real though. How many CDH content creator groups can say that they're big enough to have been parodied by another CDH content
That is
creator?
true.
Oh wow.
That's the real question.
we, I was gonna say, how many CDH content creators can say they've hit 1,500 subs on YouTube because we just crossed every.
So
And then I'm like, yeah,
So
lots of them
many.
because that's
Like,
gameplay.
literally-
We're over here
literally
doing
all of them.
podcasts. A bunch of clowns, man. The money is in gameplay, okay? That's how you know we're not sellouts, okay? Because we're doing it we've been doing this for 3 years for 1,500 subs, man. We still love it. It's awesome.
Yeah, each
Do
one
it for a reason.
worth that.
Oh yeah.
So I put this next one, which is the year of I don't even remember all the cards that came out this year.
Yeah, sounds about
Which
right.
it felt weird because I've ever since I started like truly playing CDH, I've basically paid attention to all the spoilers, known what cards are coming out, and it's like every time I do a search, like I follow all the main sets, and then it's like all the commander sets. I think that's really what gets me is there's so many like niche playables in the
Yeah.
commander specific sets, and it used to be that one commander set a year, and you'd remember all the cards from C20, C19, whatever. And now it's like, do you remember the Innistrad Midnight Hunt commander precons? Like, no. But you know what?
No, I
Sometimes there's
don't.
good stuff in there. There's some hidden gems. But yeah, like I just found that this year, even after looking at it, I'm like, I do not remember seeing this card, and it feels like a first to me, and it's kind of strange.
Yeah, I mean,
do you guys resonate with that at all?
There's just a lot. I feel like the sort of acceleration of set releases has gone up a bunch recently, at least this year. So it's just sort of nuts.
I feel like
Yeah.
I would remember specific cards because my year schedule had more distinct segments to it, but now that I've just been inside all the time, it's just like a long blend. There's less to
Actually
kind
a
of
good
peg
call.
a particular card to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this next one, this is huge.
Oh my God.
Someone's got to read this one.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Year of Mono Red. What? Oh.
What?
Shit.
What? No.
Bungled
No.
it. Soiled it.
Year of Mono White, you're right.
Yep, that's the one.
I mean,
Hey,
Oswald
dude,
did come out this year, right?
Charles
So
and
it's-
Technically.
Michael Levine have been putting in a ton of work on the Mind Sculptors. Not surprised. You're Mono White.
It's the year of Mono Blue, okay? and this is specifically as it pertains to me because I mean, it's not, Mono Blue hasn't really had its
Yeah. Mono U
a
as
good
in
year
Mono U.
in
Year
a
of
long time.
Linden's Mono Blue.
Yeah, this is the year that I decided I wanted to rebuild
I
every
feel-
Mono Blue deck.
I mean, I guess so you're saying that Mono Blue hasn't gotten good stuff in a while, but I feel like just the year that Urza came out was just like the year of Mono Blue for
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you got
Like,
the,
just,
the,
like,
the best
completely
mono blue
unbeatably.
commander, and it's in a tier of its own.
yeah,
Like, yeah, no, it's
like possibly one of the most broken commanders ever printed. If you don't take like just,
but it was
mean,
it's
broken
funny because
single
year
card.
year
just in terms of
Urza
single
came
cards.
out, and it's like, I mean, it's not like Urza was the best deck in the format or even close to being the best deck. It was just hands down now the king of mono blue, and I guess
and it
like,
probably
and
will
the
be
thing is, it's not
forever,
even
unless-
like a mono. It's a mono blue deck, obviously, but it is kind of very distinct from everything else in mono blue CDH, like all the fringe decks.
I think
Like,
I don't
there's
think
a
it
lot
was
of similarities
distinct from-
between
I don't think
fringe
it's distinct from Teferi particularly.
they're pretty
Like,
similar.
there's a
yeah.
lot of
Yes, there's
overlap between
there's
the
there's
decks.
similarities.
Well,
but
I mean, they were
they are
definitely
pretty distinct, I think.
When Urza originally came out, it was pretty much just a swap, but I think it's kind of taken its own nowadays.
yeah, I mean,
But
it just
also,
all
like,
the
you can't
zero
discount
cost
Orvar.
artifacts, right?
Yeah, I mean, Mono Blue did actually get some good tools this year that don't necessarily like slot super well into higher color decks. Like Solve the Equation and Archmage Emeritus.
Oh
Um,
boy, Archmage Emeritus.
Also
Strixhaven
the,
was honestly just
oh
awesome
my
from
God,
mono blue.
Why am I blanking?
Resculpt?
Step through.
Step through is also
Step through,
awesome.
hot.
Resculpt.
No,
Ur-
lots of
Urza
dope
Saga,
stuff from mono blue.
honestly.
Yeah, Urza Saga.
I mean,
Yeah,
Urza Saga
Urza
goes
Saga's
in
solid.
I mean, it
but
goes in a
yeah.
lot, but like it's certainly a huge upgrade for Mono Blue in terms of just like it's probably, I'd say, probably like the best utility land in Mono Blue at this point.
I think it's just kind of the best utility land at this
I
point.
mean, probably, but you know.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard to say anything's much better than Mystic Sanctuary from Mono Blue.
Yeah, I
Well, yeah.
the thing is Mystic Sanctuary. I mean, it can be a utility land or it can be a combo piece, and I was trying to like draw the lines, like
All
I
of
mean,
the above.
Yeah.
Why not both?
But yeah, so I will say I've had a ton of fun working on a bunch of different mono blue lists, and I think I'm going to continue this trend into 2022. I've got some things I'd like to finish up with some of these lists, maybe write some primers and jam some more paper games, and then set my sights on other low color underappreciated decks.
Oh,
Coming
yeah.
soon.
is that a
TM.
spoiler? We'll see.
I mean, it's a spoil. Like, I mean,
so
none
much
of the mono
as-
blue
in
stuff
so
is even
much as-
like no primers or any of my deck lists are even like super public from.
Yeah, I was about to
my
say, in
mono
so
blue
much as
stuff.
Linden actually continues playing CDH in 2022, we'll see.
See, I like working on deck lists and then having other people go test stuff because
Uh-huh.
I just want to keep testing Baral. That's how it is. And then last but not least,
There we
got
have
here?
the
Year of the Turbo. And I think up until the very end, that may have been that was definitely true. I feel like it's turbo down
yeah. I feel like
a little bit.
Q4 2021 was not a good year for Turbo
No.
or good quarter.
I feel like Turbo is still like the defining deck of the meta, or it's just like the thing that you
Yeah.
have to respect. I don't know. Like there might have been, like there's definitely other decks that like have done better over the entire course of the than a lot of Turbo decks. Like we haven't even seen stuff like Blue Farm or whatever that often this year, but I feel like it's still just like the defining force in the meta, even if it hasn't shown its head in top fours that much.
Yeah, fair.
Azrael knew Linden's background is his doctorate thesis defense on why Arcane Denial is not a bad card. Don't get into
Arcane
it.
Denial is not just not
Man,
a
we're
bad card.
moving
It is
on.
better than it is second
We-
only to Mana Drain in terms of 2
We-
CMC counterspells.
We are
Okay?
going to give the floor to chat now.
That's nice.
Those
Logan,
were
that's
those
nice.
were all of our those were all of our meme names for 2021. Now if anybody's in chat and has their own ideas for names of 2021, go drop them. We'll read out a couple of them, get them on record for
This
for
is
the
your time to
YouTube
make
video,
the YouTube
but-
content.
Yep, this is your time to make content for us. Thank you. We have the year of Cody playtesting from Zach. Yep. Good one. Cody Gate. The year of experimental decks and
Year
fringe.
stash.
Year of the stash. I appreciate it. Did have it going at the end of last year, but
Yeah, you debuted. I
came
feel
in-
like you
yeah.
debuted it on our
Last year's
stream
one?
last year. Yeah.
It filled out over the last year though. Got better. Year of Calamax. Morgan, how do you feel about that? I want an opinion.
I'll take it. Honestly, it's more the year of Reed finally feels my Calamax pain.
Not even though, because like I've now realized more after playing Yorian that like so you could just like never stand to have Calamax removed. I've played a lot of games at this point where people are like, we literally can't remove Yorian or else he gets to recast it and get another trigger.
Sure, but you understand how it feels when you're like,
Oh,
guys,
sure.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to like draw a card and maybe untap some mana, and they're like, it has to die.
Yeah.
Okay, this is chat inspired, but year of mid power content. I feel like we've had the most mid power content this year, specifically when Lyndon was gone.
Oh yeah, we actually we got a lot of mid power content in as soon as Lyndon left, which is hilariously
it's just
surprising.
now it's just retired forever, right? We can it's off time.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to wait another 2 years
Yeah.
before we can even touch mid power.
I'm so bored of mid power again.
Yeah.
And we're gone. Year of mid power cannon. Appreciate it. Yeah, year that Void Winnower made it into CDH. Year of understanding Yorian lines.
Year of CDH drama. Honestly, not enough drama, man. I need this. CDH should be like an all-consuming hobby for me. Like I want to go on YouTube and instead of Keemstar drama alert, I just want it to be CDH drama alert. Just nothing but CDH content drama nonstop.
There were 2 different CDH related drama events happening at the same time.
Yeah.
If that's not the year of CDH drama, I don't know what it is.
You're close to competitive cards. Yeah, there's a fair amount of fringe stuff that got printed this year that is just sort of weirdly close. The year that tier list fell off. Hey, we did a tier list this year.
Our tier list episode did really well.
It did incredibly well.
Which is just if anything, it's the complete opposite message, which is just stop all of this BS informative, like trying to give opinions and educated takes. Tier lists. Tier lists. Every episode is a tier list now. Hope you guys like it.
Yeah, this is your fault, chat.
Yep, it's all clickbait from here on out. You're the frog server struck back. Yeah. Yeah. Gotta get that clap back at people trying to degrade
that says striked.
Striked back? Yeah, fine.
Okay.
I don't think anyone took our tier list. Well,
hopefully
the thing is, our tier list was just color combinations, so
yeah,
it
wasn't
actually
like
was serious.
Yeah.
It was the Mind Sculptors who did a joking tier list that people took really seriously.
People took way too seriously.
I mean, in fairness, though, it was kind of an odd choice for them to, have half of their takes be serious and then half of them be total memes. Like,
yeah, I didn't really get that one. I figured like you gotta go for a full meme tier list if you're gonna go for it. I don't know.
So ODST Zombie, the year we played what we enjoyed. Yes, that is. For the most part, I said, fuck it, I don't want to play meta stuff if I don't have to, unless it's for tier 1 con and it's for a lot of money. But for most of the time, dude, I just jammed what I enjoyed.
Yeah, we actually this year was the year that we figured out exactly how much it cost to buy out Lyndon's Morals to bring a meta deck to a tournament.
And even then, I'm gonna take my own twist on it. So, yeah. Or I guess mine, and I should give shout out to my fellow brewer Kibitson. I've done a lot of my mono blue brewing and even like brewing with Cody and stuff. Did a lot with him, so yeah, shout out Keeb.
Developers
cool.
popping off, yeah, cool.
So now we can move on to decks that are enabled by new cards / new decks of 2021.
What we have here is just all stuff that I wrote down when I could figure it out, but we can add more stuff in. And I'm sure chat will yell at us if we miss anything.
There's kind of a fine line between this category of decks and the next one, so
yeah. Well, these are all like
all
these are new commanders. The next ones are like new brews using existing commander. I feel like we had this exact discussion last year during show notes.
It's still just as vague. Nothing
Anyway.
was cleared up here.
Yeah, so first off, we have everyone's favorite book, 3-mana artifact, 5-color commander, Cody.
There
So what
something
happened for Cody this year?
There has to be I just want to, before we get into this, there has to be a better book. Like, there has to be a book that's more beloved than Cody, because Cody sucks. Like,
dude, I think the Underworld
Cookbook
is
yeah.
yeah.
I'll take Underworld.
Dude,
Cookbook
remember
over
when that
Cody.
was the best deck in Modern for a week?
For like less than a week. People
it's not even
like,
it's not even like tier 3 anymore.
They just
It's
immediately
really
figured out, like, it was like a few days that people just like immediately figured out that Murktide Regent was way better than anything that you could do with Asmo.
No, Snoosuke says everyone was scared of Cody, but no one actually played the deck. Which, you know, we said in our episode, we were actually kind of talking pre-show. It's like, you know, how Cody has gone back around to being just people think it sucks. And you know, we after our tier 1 episode, what did we say? We said don't play this deck. This deck is cancerous. It's not fun. It's not fun to play. It's not fun to play against. It's just, and it does not promote like healthy gameplay patterns. And you know what? If it takes people thinking the deck is bad to have people not play Cody and not ruin like random pods, I'll take it. You know, that I'm fine with that. Let's all join together and just in a resounding, you know, Cody's not a good deck. You know, let's just will that into
guys,
to existence.
if you're trying to align for a turbo meta, then Cody is the best deck. Like,
yeah,
I don't think you can
But
do
you don't need
any
to
better.
say that, you know?
Yeah, shh.
I was about to say, like, half a year down the line, we just don't
can't
spike
even-
a tournament again.
I
with
can't even
Cody
joke about it.
because people think it's terrible still. Yeah, exactly, Asriel. That's what I'm getting at. Yeah, it actually sort of sucks because we got Cody this year before Profane Tutor came out. Like, they both came out in the same year this year. So we got Cody, and it was a really cool deck, and then we got Profane Tutor, and then it was a really not cool deck.
I mean, I think it was a terrible deck when we first got it.
It was.
Yes.
I never said it was good. I said it was cool.
So is it a deck enabled by new cards and a new brew / deck update?
Wow. Matt, stop trying to fucking merge all our categories together. We need some semblance of structure for the unwashed masses.
Okay, we got a couple more here.
We do.
Next, we've got Minsk.
Yep.
Your favorite. What does it make? A mouse?
Everyone's favorite
Legend.
hamster.
Hamster. Yeah.
Everyone's
Boo,
favorite.
Boo is actually the
miscellaneous
hamster, for the
member.
record. Minsk is the dude. Minsk is a lot less amazing than Boo. Boo is top tier. Although Minsk did win a tournament. When's the last? That's gonna be the first Hulk tournament win since Flashband, right? Actually, I'm just now realizing that.
That is significant.
Right? Yeah.
Yep.
Pretty hot.
Remember, kids, play the Avon mindset.
Yeah, Archon's always enough. Nobody will ever play basic lands in a 3-color deck ever. No need.
I'm pretty sure that deck was literally on Blood Moon too.
Minsk?
Or it can be.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, 100%. You can slime Blood Moon with that deck. Yeah. You like that deck is very okay with just playing the Sax
I
game.
bet he doesn't have basics.
Uh,
It's fine. I'm not salty. Just took way too much playing Control and Rakdos to get there, only to die to being hated out of my own interaction. It's fine.
It happens.
Everything's fine.
Good thing you said you weren't salty, because otherwise I'd be very confused.
Otherwise, you might have thought you might have thought I was salty, but now you know I'm not.
I'm actually we got a nice breadth of new like Hulk commanders this year, so that it's not just like partners and Virals. We have like a nice spread now, which is nice. You do like stuff with Grist, you can do stuff with like Tavesh, Dina, Minsk. I'm actually I every time I look back at Dina, I was like, I'm just like, god damn it, why couldn't this be a free sack outlet? God damn it. This would be such a good deck. You have a 2 CMC free sack out in the command zone that also combos with Exquisite Blood, 1-card combo. It'd just be so good. I play the shit out of the deck.
That would be quite cool.
Speaking of 2-drop commanders, we've got Oswald. And also, I mean, let's also throw in another 2-drop commander. Reed,
Cole. Yep.
your friend and mine, Cole.
I could not believe when we were writing out show notes that Cole was printed this year, but alas, it was, and we're all the better for it.
Yeah. It's just such a Reed deck. I feel like it's just been around forever.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
And I've gotten so much playtime out of it too. I feel like maybe not particularly recently, but I've like just over the course of the year, it's got a lot out of it. It's fun. That deck is so cool. I don't know, because it's sort of weird because if it was just a Boros Storm deck and you were just trying to go for like breach lines or like wheel and stuff, it would not be that interesting. But it's this fact that you have like this primary layer that is better than trying to do Boros Storm, so you're going for it most of the game, but you also have like all these stormy aspects to it. It's just super, I don't know, it's just super cool. I'm
adaptive.
Yeah. I love that deck.
I mean, last one we have on this list, which is definitely not, this list definitely isn't complete, but I don't think we're gonna go through the effort to make it complete.
Chat us a bit.
We've got Orvar, and we better hear some hootin' hollering from any Orvar players in chat right now. But Orvar is honestly just like really interesting and cool as a concept. I really like the design direction they've been going with commanders. Like every year, the amount of command, like there's that one guy who his goal is to build every single commander deck, and he's
that person
at
exists.
no
That's
point
insane.
He's never been caught up. And it's only getting harder every year.
They never will be caught up.
I know. It's
what's like non-partner.
But it's surprising that I just every people complain about generic value engine commanders, which I think we've talked about before, and rightfully so. They're kind of boring, but they really kind of it really surprised me how they find all these very interesting ways to innovate and come up with mechanically unique and interesting commanders. Like Orvar is, I guess, sort of reminiscent of Feather-ish, but yet it's doing its own.
But
it's
like
doing its own thing.
It's definitely like super its own thing.
It's just it's super super cool. And I guess Orvar went through a couple iterations this year. They initially started off as like a Twiddle Storm list, and then a faction of people, myself included, kind of took the list in a direction of Twitch control that's built around instead of Twiddles, the 1 mana, tap or untap target artifact, creature, land, whatever. They're the Twitches, which are the 3 mana version of those that also cantrip. So built around those and the interaction with Mystic Sanctuary and abusing that. And then there's still some, old fogies who can't, adjust the times.
With the deck.
Who like, just doing things
game,
and having a deck full of air that just, fizzles. So, I guess to each their own. But
so Lyndon, how many games have you won with Twitch control?
I have not played a single game of Orvar.
Huh. Interesting.
And yet I still know that it's the better version of the deck.
Yet I still have
it's just the best
Just
mono blue
saying,
mind
I
out
still
there,
know.
It's just how does he know? How does he know? How is he so good at knowing these things? It's
I
rest my
gift.
case.
Can I just say that I just love that's one of the many dynamics of this podcast, but it's top tier in my opinion, is the dynamic of Lyndon setting up this very elaborate house of cards and Morgan just pushing it with a finger and watching the entire thing collapse in real time.
See, as we're going to be talking about this in I guess new high impact cards or a section later on, and we're going to see that sometimes Lyndon has a keen eye for what is actually good, and no one else sees it. and it's only years later that he's that I'm redeemed. So
Through no fault of his
it's gonna be
own.
Arcane Denial. It's gonna be Orvar Twitch Control. You guys will be eating your words in 2 years in the next year in review or
When
whatever.
something that you totally didn't foresee gets printed and makes it broken in a way that you didn't expect. But you'll still,
Okay,
but
you're
you'll still
already
cringe
setting up the excuses. I see. Okay.
for.
Yeah. So then we also have here most Commander Legend stuff, which
Yep.
yeah, I mean a bunch
So
we
it
already
just
covered this.
Came
Yeah.
into its own this year for the most part. We sort of just like lost track of it last year, and yeah, like a bunch of it just got refined this year, right? So
Yep. So then we can move on to the separate section that's kind of just a fairly similar section, which is new brews / deck updates.
well, it's existing decks or existing commanders, but like
Yeah,
brewed in a
exclusively
new way
non
or with new
2021
cards.
commanders, pretty much.
Yeah. The thing is also is that a lot of the existing commanders got a ton of new tools throughout the year.
Oh yeah,
right?
I
it's
mean,
like
again,
we're not
tons
even
of
going
cards
to
printed
all of
this
it, but
year.
it was I played. I mean, I don't even remember. Did we talk about Yisan early on in the podcast? Like, was I playing Yisan back then? Like, I played Yisan a long time ago. And recently I decided to go take a peep at the deck list database list, and I was like, holy moly, this thing looks a lot different. And I was really intrigued. It's actually inspired me to kind of get back into Yisan and work on some lines and talk to some people. But it's just like all kinds of decks are getting updates from, like, I guess Yisan was a lot of Ashaya, but like just a ton of decks are getting updates from new cards and evolving and improving.
That is actually awesome to hear because, like, I like, I'm not attaching this to the database at all, but like, just I feel like I'm too in tune to have in tune with the decks currently being built and like modifications being made to stuff to have that experience. Just because like I have to look through like basically every database submission and like I'm constantly active and like mostly keeping up with brews. So I'm mostly up to date with like most developments like that. But that's awesome to hear that like yeah, people can be excited about like, oh, I haven't looked at this deck in a while. Wow, this is super different and super cool. There's a lot of new stuff in here. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. I'm really eager to get back into that. Yeah, so we've got some Krark Sakashima. Got some. It's weird to call it new brews or new updates because, like, I mean, I guess it did come out in.
It is new updates. It's new updates.
Yeah, but
it's deck updates.
It almost feels like it's like the Cody thing, right? Where it's like, I mean, Cody did get an update, right? But it basically came out at the same time. It was just so new that it felt like this is all kind of at the same time.
Pre-show, Morgan had a decent explanation of this, like the new cards.
No. What I think what Lyndon's talking about is that like the prior version of it existed for such a short period of time that we can't really call this an update. I don't think that's true. I think we're about half.
No, I don't. Yeah, Reed summarized it well. Yeah. Like, I'm not saying you can't call it an update, but it almost feels like it's just the same continuous evolution of a deck, even though they are new cards that were changing an existing deck.
Left a very important card off this.
Oh yeah, because you asked for explicitly non-creature payoffs.
Does the deck also not run the? Do they run the?
Is it Scoundrel?
The Strixhaven? Do they run the Strixhaven guy as well?
Which Strixhaven guy?
Makes treasures copy spells.
Yeah, that's already on the list.
Bayran Harmonic Prodigy also aren't on here.
Oh,
but anyway.
yeah,
you know the good ones.
Bayran and Harmonic Prodigy.
Yeah, the actual huge ones.
Yeah, so a few things happened. First, a bunch of Krark doublers were printed,
which are actually the most insane part of that deck by like a country mile.
Yeah, but also there were 3 different creatures that made mana as part of your combo, being Birgi, Stormkill Artist, and Tavern Scoundrel.
Yep.
And that meant that the deck,
that's crazy.
Instead of having to like walk a very fine line where you were trying to win enough flips on your rituals without losing them to feed your twin flames, instead you just try and find like a mana producing creature, and then it's just about the twin flame, and so you basically have like half the failure chance because you're not
Yeah.
I mean, and also having the density and is it?
Yeah, to like
defining
actually
Yeah.
have your combo
is
pieces
kind of-
in your hand.
It's kind of
Also
insane.
the fact that like they're all Imperial Recruiter tutorable.
Yeah.
And they're
Oh
also
my
all like
goodness.
model mixture tutorable for the most part, or like there's at least
like-
one in each category that you can tutor for.
Yeah. Definitely
just-
makes
yeah.
that deck a lot more
crazy.
consistent.
Like way more consistent. And also it's got, you know, like Emeritus solve equation, spec it rich. Just good stuff overall. Yeah, I feel like we're probably at like the midway point in terms of the lifespan of the deck now, where like I think for probably about half its lifespan, it didn't have this stuff, and it was not great, and then it's sort of been accumulating this stuff relatively quickly over the past 6 months or so, I'd say. And
So,
then yeah,
wait, so
Was it?
it got Bergie like in January, right? And then
yeah. It got Burger.
Strixhaven was like Strixhaven was the spring set.
yeah.
So that, and then I think Modern Horizons 2 was like the real, like
Yeah.
that's where it really sort of all came together.
But yeah, good deck. We also got another deck here, which has been talked about a lot, and I guess deserves to be talked about a lot. Winota got some pretty huge
Yeah.
upgrades.
And Winota's like, I mean, been a deck for a while, but
Yeah.
I think the meta really kind of just like really made this one happen this year. Like in that point where we kind of churned from like Turbo, Winota was just ahead of the churn and really shone in that regard. Like I don't think there really are any particular cards here. Like we've listed them out, but like Esper Sentinel, sure, great. Ragavan, great, but nothing really makes Winota work out of those.
I mean,
you know.
To be fair, Blade Historian is actually a pretty huge upgrade for that deck.
And
like,
yeah, and Blade Historian, sure.
That card makes you kill people. Like that actually, without. I feel like there are other pump creatures, but none of them are quite as good as like double strike all my stuff. You're now dead.
I mean, that
like,
effect,
2 turns.
Angrat's Marauders already existed, right? Like that effect isn't necessarily unique. It got
Double Strike is a lot
Downshifted.
better than
It's a
Double
lot
Damage.
better, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just First Strike is like
Especially
crazy.
because your board loses indestructible after the combat that you're done, like they come in on. Like the fact that you just start like eating, like you're either dead or I'm eating your entire board and not getting rid of any of my pieces. Like that's just so much stronger than tripling damage.
it is just double damage, right?
Yeah, Marauders is just.
It's
Oh,
just
Marauders double?
double.
Oh yeah, so it's like way better than that then. Yeah. That was triple damage. Oh no, what's the? Oh, there's one damage tripler in the game, right? And it's not even a
Yeah,
creature.
but
It's
it's an
an
enchantment.
enchantment.
Yeah. Okay, never mind.
Fiery, is it Fiery Emancipation?
I think
No,
so.
that's the sorcery.
No,
right?
no, it's fiery something.
I know you put it in Medan Den.
It is fiery emancipation.
Wow. I'm
did
so good at this card game. Magic
definitely,
the Gathering,
definitely
dude.
not like
Holy
you've
moly.
actively played with that card and have put it in text before.
No, but I also suck at remembering card names. Normally
Alright,
it's
yeah, alright.
good old Morgan database last name over here, you know?
Yeah, also definitely wasn't typing that into Scribble as we were having the
Basic
discussion.
name. Yeah, so I mean, also Winota, I was just like straight up a Winota denier. No, I just didn't
For a
believe
while,
in
yeah.
Winota until I saw it in action. I was like, "Holy shit, this deck actually has legs!" It's just super cool. I enjoyed seeing Winota a lot.
Yeah,
Really,
I mean,
tier
it's-
one con that kind of opened my eyes to Winota a lot.
It's nice to actually finally have a deck that I can confidently point people to when they're like, I want to play combat damage as a win con and see. It's like, yeah, this is the deck that does combat damage as a like you have outlets to win the game with combo, but most of the time you're just pumping an entire board very quickly and making people dead by hitting them.
Remember when people used to call Najila the combat deck?
Yeah, right. Or blood
It's like
pod.
calling, it's like go to a combat. It's that's just cheating, man.
I mean, I feel like it was certainly
Najila can
Yeah.
actually do it without comboing, yeah.
But it
it's
certainly
like-
wasn't
it's
close
just
to
so
prior
lame.
to playing.
and I
Not
think at
on
the
the
very
same
least,
level.
the pressure Najila presented with combo was like a relevant factor in Najila
Yeah.
games a lot of the time.
Dude, the real dude. So actually, I guess I was gonna say make a joke about Urza being like the secret beatdown deck with fucking all the constructs and shit.
Yeah,
But,
like the game that I got beat to death on turn 3 by Urza without taking any additional damage.
Whoa.
The
when
That was a
Morgan
great game.
Morgan played, I was on the play. Morgan played turn 1 Urza, copy artifact, make another construct. Turn 2, flicker the Urza, make another construct, dump my entire hand of all my artifacts.
No, I also activated
you
the
for-
Saga. That's what
Oh,
you're
right, and then
forgetting.
activated a Saga.
And
Like,
that slaps
hit
him
me
with,
for
four
like
11
Yeah.
constructs.
You hit me for like 20 on turn 2, and then hit me for like 40 on turn 3, and I was just like, yeah, I guess I'm dead. Fine, great.
It was in the Twitch control Orvar build. One of the fun tech pieces we had was I think you'd even talked about potentially doing this into your build, Morgan. Was a Gear Hulk. Dude, Gear Hulk is just a sick thing that can just. I mean, it's obviously got other utility, but a lot of the utility is you just put a bunch of 5/6s in the thing.
Because you just
Like,
keep flashing back all the flickers that are in your bin and just keep making more of them.
Yeah, that's
Just like,
It's like someone casts a spell. Well, no, it's even
Yeah.
better if there's like a spell in the stack or something. You're like, okay, Gear Hulk, and then I'll make another Gear Hulk, and then another Gear Hulk, and then you just like 20 more Gear Hulks, and you're like, and then I'll flash back this counter spell. It's like, all right.
in response, I'll cast this counter spell that also puts 25 power into play.
Josh, I would not suggest him to come out to anybody. I think it's very much the bread deck.
How did we ever get to the point where people pretended Kamal was playable? I didn't really understand.
Hey, I mean, you've died to Tom playing Kamal before.
Yeah, like once.
yeah, it's fine. Yeah, like if people actively want to play a deck that like wins with combat damage, though, I'm far more likely to just point them to Minota and be like, here, play this deck.
I also think that the time we died to Kamal, if he'd been playing Timnit Kodama, we were still very
we were
dead
still
from
very
that
dead
board
to
state.
it. Yeah, like I don't think the Kamal
like-
actually added much there.
Well,
It made
it's
us
like,
dead like
he's
2
got
turns
a
earlier or something.
bunch of stacks creatures and an Elashnorn. Oh, and a Kamal.
Oh
Okay.
no, you're forgetting the best part, which is that he also had a Sylvan Safekeeper and a Mother of Runes. So it's just like, yeah, none of this is going away, and there's no way we're winning in combat. Anyway,
Yeah. So Reed, you want to this next one's
Technically,
you,
I put it down.
yeah, go for it,
I put
Morgan.
it down.
Do it up.
Okay.
Sure, yeah. I think the next sort of new brew or innovation that we saw was the rise of like non-turbo Hermit Druid decks. So Reed took one to a tournament.
Yep.
Killstars
Killstars
won a tournament with his
with
like
it.
Stacks Hermit Druid blended deck.
Which is
But I
hot, by
think-
the way, because that layering works actually like perfectly. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, it definitely is. I think that like Malevolent Hermit sort of opened up a really interesting avenue because like the worst part of Hermit Druid has people like, oh, the worst part of Hermit Druid is that you have to just play Hermit Druid and pass the turn.
Or you have to
And it's like,
untap with Hermit, and that's not at all the issue. with it.
that's not at all the worst part. The worst part is Dread Return, and it's
Yeah.
always been Dread Return.
Yeah, the
And-
fact that you have to cast a Dread Return at the end of all of it after playing this one card creature, like super counter magic resilient win con, is that you have to cast a counterable sorcery at the end of it.
Yeah.
After giving the table advance notice.
after paying the cost.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they so like the addition of Malevolent Hermit means that you can mill the deck, and then for 3 mana you can play a thing that makes your Dread Return uncounterable. So you can just play like a much slower, more mid-range version of the deck. You can cut some of the worse enablers like Post-Mortem Lunge
Fate Stitcher.
and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you Fate Stitcher and just be like, I'm not gonna go for like turn 2 Hermit Druid, turn 3 win, and try and like get under people as if turn 3 is getting under anything. Instead, you can just be like, I'm gonna, play this play this Hermit Druid naturally. I'm playing like a Thrasios Tymna mid-range deck, and then like I have this creature card that enables a 1-card combo that can only be stopped by stuff that interacts with creatures. And that's quite strong. Also, you could just play Oracle and activate Hermit Druid.
Yeah. Which is like
people forget.
It's actually that's why I brought that deck to that tournament, is because like Hermit Druid Thrastimna decks are unreasonably good into rule of law stacks, because you're just like, yeah, I have a double creature tutorable win con that just wins through rule of law.
Right.
Like,
This is your Aether Vial brew?
I didn't actually bring Aether Vial to that tournament, but
Coward.
He's a coward. Exactly.
I didn't.
Exactly.
It wasn't good. I needed access to both Oof and Nullrod for that tournament, so I couldn't afford to bring it.
Dude,
Anyway.
nothing better than playing a Mana Crypt to cast your Null Rod. Same thing, an 8th Violin that
It's
Oof,
not
baby.
bad.
Let's go.
Didn't you hear it's the year of playing decks you want to play that are fun?
Yeah, exactly.
Play your pet cards, man.
I
Play
didn't.
your
Yeah,
Aether
Matt.
Vial.
I'm not sure if
That
you
shit.
actually saw the deck that I brought, but it wasn't actually. Unfortunately, it wasn't Sacred Guide in the entire Spice package. I stripped it back and made an actual Hermit Druid deck.
I've only seen the cool one.
Yeah, which you know what? You're better for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna preserve that memory as if you did take the cool list.
Yeah, I
and,
took it to the tournament.
Yeah, so our last section here is honestly kind of my favorite section, which is we've got Yorion, Essica, and then I wrote other QMTG bullshit, and then QMTG is our like extended play group, and it's just these are decks that I think are just super awesome and unique, and they're just not on the database. Because I guess Reed, you're the one working on Yorion, and Morgan, you're working on Essica. You guys just can't be fucked to put it on the database and maintain it, even though you guys are
entirely why. It's also because I have some semblance of responsibility about what I should recommend people play.
Yeah.
See, I think that's such a bummer because I guess
Dude,
the
literally like
database
a
does
Brewers
have a
corner.
bit of a gap in where like you can't there is no permanent house for decks of this kind of like. I mean, Yorion may be different, but
Man,
like,
if
I guess
only
Essica
there
is
was
kind of-
a meme category on the database.
I thought the
We're
meme category
not-
was getting
We're
shut
not
down.
getting into this. We're not getting
Yeah.
into this. We're moving on. I have no desire to retread this path.
Yeah, no. Honestly, Yorion has been super sick playing against that. Essica, Essica. You know, we talked about there's no deck that can play literally all the stacks and is resilient to every stacks. You know, then there's Essica.
The only stacks it can't play is Grafdigger's Cage.
Yeah.
It's the one short.
I mean, you could build a version that could.
I mean,
play
unfortunately, the
around
other thing
Grafdigger's
is that you just lose access to a lot of the stacks pieces because they're creatures and you don't want to flip into them.
So you have to find non-creature versions of it, which is like not great, but yeah. God, it's somehow every time Morgan plays a jank deck, I feel like I've just every single one of them I've lost at least one time to like the highest possible roll you could ever put together for that deck.
That was beautiful.
Remember how you had been playing the deck for a while, and then I forget how you discovered it or something. Like maybe someone mentioned it, and about the Sphinx of the Second Sun or whatever.
Yeah, I think
No,
that was
did
my
you find
idea.
it? But it had been a while or something
Yeah,
before
it had been
you
a while,
come up,
and then I was like looking through big drops, and I'm like, wait a minute, I like remembered having looked at it for Vanipar because I thought it worked as a sketchy haste enabler, and then I was like, wait
wait a second.
This is actually just
This is
best
so
garbage
actually
deck.
insane.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just a lot of QMTG bullshit that just like it's not exactly behind closed doors, but you know, just not a lot of publicity. We don't shield decks that much. You know, go on the database.
I mean, yeah, like I guess
go on,
like I also talked about my
stuff.
Baral list a ton on here, and I played it in QPG, and I mean, it was hypocrite. I haven't submitted it to the database.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't know. Yeah.
No need to, and people want to play it. Also,
That's just because you're afraid of rejection, though.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Dude, if I was afraid of rejection, would I be putting myself out here all the time with this arcane denial defense? Okay, you know, it's I head first into the adversity, man.
That's a weird, I feel like backfiring self-aware comment. Would I be as ridiculous as saying arcane denial if I didn't believe
you guys
it?
will wake up one day to the power of arcane denial. Okay, it's
What's actually okay? Here's a question. What's your favorite random QMTG bullshit to play against in the past year?
Sarah,
I I like
Definitely not Ithaca.
Essica because every time I can just accuse Morgan of counterpicking me. Doesn't matter what deck I'm playing, it's always a counterpick.
Wait, but that's
You
also true
do
for
not need me to
Calibax.
play Essica
Yeah, that's
to do
also
that.
true for Calibax.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no, Morgan's playing a CDH deck. This is a counter pick.
It's just decks. No, it's not just CDH decks. Because it's like if it's Thrascio's Timna deck, I don't care. Unless it's Reed's stupid bullshit with all of his uncounterable crap. Reed mono Aether Vials. Like, damn it.
Okay, so it's basically like if you put any modicum of thought into not just dying to counter spells, you're
Yes,
counterpicking
it's counterpicking. Yeah,
Got it.
exactly.
Understood.
Are people included? Yeah, go for it. Wait, Morgan, I'm surprised that your answer wasn't Sithis compared, like, considering that as soon as you just play, like, Kess or any Dockside deck into Sithis, you just, like, have the most fun ever. It turns, like,
I
every
always
hand into a
felt
high roll
dirty
hand.
doing that, though. I mostly just wanted you to stop playing Sithis.
Just so you can stop. Yorian makes me want to take a
You
bath
don't
in the
play
toaster.
Sithis
I
anymore.
appreciate it. That's true. Sort of moved on a bit. Yorian makes me want to take a bath with the toaster. I'm surprised.
Yorian has the highest inevitability of any deck in CDH. Ship
Hey
it.
man, I don't know.
Send tweet.
All right, do we have to do the Yorian versus Muldrotha fucking wank off?
I'm actually I've been considering that like we should probably get around to it at some point. We should have everybody bring their most
Yorian
inevitable
trigger on
deck
the stack.
into a pod.
I'll crack this pernicious deed.
All right,
I feel like
I'll
it's just gonna
respond.
resolve around can I land a pernicious deed?
Well, no,
It's
all around. Can you stick Muldrotha?
It's can you land a pernicious deed and then can I not have the fast flicker to like get around the pernicious
to dodge
deed?
it.
Yeah. I'll crack this pernicious deed. I will cast this ghostly or not ghostly flicker. I'll cast this what's it called? The flashback one. Anyway.
Oh, momentary blink.
I'll cast this momentary blink. I'll counter it. I'll flashback this momentary blink. I'll counter it again. I'll cast this Aether Flux.
Azrael asks, how else does Baral beat Shusher? And I'll just say Baral loses to a lot of cards. A lot of cards. Baral, I've said before, I don't know if I've said it on the podcast or if I've just said it among friends, it's just, Baral is, I mean, Morgan and I had a back and forth the other day about whether Baral was actually the worst viable mono blue commander. We came up with a few viable mono blue commanders that are worse than Baral, but they're rough. You know, like it's Baral is definitely king of the trash.
That'd be Ambassador of the Quaddus, right?
I know.
Worst
Is he viable?
We didn't count him as viable.
All right.
I think the worst one that we said is sort of viable was 3-mana Kefnet.
I played that deck, and I think I have to agree.
Sick.
It's sick. That deck's
way
awesome,
better
but
than
it's
Baral.
so bad.
Yeah,
that Adele's like legitimately much better than Baral. Yes.
Yeah. No. A lot of my I've come to the realization. So there's a thing with like Pokemon in like that every move is dig. You know, well, Earthquake. You know, it's just the second half of dig. Protect. Well, it's just the first half of dig. You know, like I've kind of been applying this philosophy to like CDH and just Baral, like, and specifically decks I make. Like every deck I make is basically a Baral deck. It's like that Adele. It's just you're trying to play your commander on turn 2, and it's a mana engine. It's a Baral deck.
It's why I'm incredibly surprised that you didn't pick up Vadric. Although I guess that was just like when you were starting to not play CDH anymore. So,
but also Vadric is just a bit too similar to some of the other things. Like that Adele, there's like there is some unique aspects to that Adele compared to Baral, and it's like Vadric is like, it really just feels like I'm going to be building Is It Baral, and I've already got Riel as my Is It Baral deck, so.
True. Kefnet is the worst now with new Kraken. That deck never played Tidespout Tyrant, and I don't think it'll play Kraken. You just can't make it work. Maybe you could, but I just didn't.
No, all of the I don't know, the Mystic Sanctuary. I don't know.
It's
I
just
guess
like
it's an outlet for Tyrant, but
no, it is, and it was always an outlet for Tyrant. But I always felt like the better plan was just to rebuy Polymorph every turn and get like Sea Sphinx and Nezahal and Jin Gataxias into play. I could be wrong. It just feels like
and
that's
just
so much
Mystic
better.
Sanctuary combo.
Yeah, just Mystic Sanctuary combo instead. Good try it though. You know, somebody should try that. Do multi-poly Kefnit with the Tide Spout and Kraken. Just get both of them in play. It's pretty neat because you get like backup lines because people like counter the polymorph. And you're like, great, I'll reset this Mystic Sanctuary and do it again next turn.
Okay, so we have decks that lost popularity this year. We have two very special commanders close to all of our hearts, and that is Thrasios Timna. Which, like hold on, rewind the tape. Let's go back. I swear somewhere in the we declared the death of medium green.
From last year.
Was that last year?
That was last year.
They've come back and died again.
Yeah, they've come back.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 tournament wins on Thrasios and Timna. I guess it's a dead deck.
Yeah, sorry, Zach. We're just digging that knife even deeper.
Zach, I'm on team. I don't think it's dead.
I don't think it's dead. It's certainly declining popularity.
Definitely not dead. Declining in popularity, yes.
Dead.
I
no.
Thrasios Timna declined in popularity. Thrasios and Timna as partner commanders more popular than ever.
I'm not sure that's true with Thrasios. Thrasios is actually on a downturn.
Thrasios is also less
I don't know,
popular.
like people just
definitely.
aren't playing Thrasios right now because
I mean,
it
Sans
is
Black is just
better.
not as played.
apparently still playing Corvold. They are, but only when I play Sithis, and then only when I have a bunch of stuff in play and they can make massive Docksides or massive Culling Ritual. I've
That
never
was a
seen Corvold
truly
be good.
impressive
That
Culling
was
Ritual.
that was a truly impressive Culling Ritual. There was a Culling Ritual for 24.
You know what's less
Um,
popular and also dead? Food chain.
Yeah, checks out. Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
there was some food chain doing. I mean, I think it's just one food chain player, which is Meraxis, Portuguese CDH player. He did. I think he took down one of the preliminary Tier 1 Con events,
Yep,
and
so
then
he
I
got
think
the
he
vibe.
also whatever
16,
the
yeah.
top 16,
Top
the
16.
Tier 1 main event, playing his first liver food chain.
You're actually there
Which
when,
it's also not just like, I mean, his first liver food. It is just everything, right? It's console, it's breach, it's yeah.
It's
Which
Yeah,
is
shout out
kind of
Meraxis. We had we hung out quite a bit at Tier 1 Con after when everyone kind of split off into the rooms when we got kicked out of the event hall, and everyone just got drunk in rooms and played EDH.
played in
Dude, that was
cabanas,
dude, hell of a time, man.
It was a great time. That was when Morgan tried to play a Sararak and just did not go well.
One of the games was a play mistake, and then a bunch of it was just getting mega unlucky.
Yeah.
Slash, I feel like you just got very lucky playing that deck.
Yeah, sort of. I don't know. You gotta mull pretty aggressively and try to find tutors for stuff, but yeah.
No, it definitely felt like there were a lot of games where we like dealt with you, and then
yeah.
you just had the second one.
Yeah, I'd have the second piece, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
it's rough.
Yeah.
Are there any other dead ones? Alright, chat. What are your dead decks? Votes for the deadest deck. Or least popular deck, I guess. Dude.
I'll say, I think it's just there are too many new commanders being printed where there is not enough people in the CDH community, which is okay. The CDH community, I was thinking about this recently, and
Okay,
I've been listening to a lot of Legacy content. We are bigger than Legacy.
Okay, I agree. I'm gonna pause you there, Keegan. I am this close to timing you out.
That's a bad answer because it wasn't alive at the start of this year. Let's be real.
Yeah, I feel okay. We might not be.
Wait, Reed, can you remind me? We played in a 2-color league. Did we register? Did we register Virals?
Nope, we didn't. That's because we
Sounds
did not
like it's
register.
dead.
We did not register the color combination.
Sounds like it's dead.
But yeah, I will say,
You
in terms
registered
of
Sithis and not
comparative,
Varals.
compared to Sithis has strengths that Varals doesn't, and vice versa. But we needed this, and apparently we just died anyway because turn 2 win through Hushbringer sucks versus Rakdos. Anyway, I do agree that we're
sorry,
actually.
hold on. No, I want to finish what I was saying earlier, which is I think
that's
that
why I'm
there's
agreeing with you.
okay, but
I
I
was
mean,
getting us back on track.
you took you
Okay.
can't cut me off to go
Continue.
yell at Keegan. Rightfully so, but,
And I would do it again. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think despite the CDH community being growing and at this point I think we're I mean Legacy's on a downswing and CDH seems to be continuously on an upswing. There is so many new commanders coming out, and it just doesn't seem like there's enough dedicated pilots or people who are constantly trying to like keep these decks up to date. Where a lot of like older commanders that have been around for a long time and that are still just as viable, they're just if they lose a bit of interest and there's something new and shiny coming out, it's like people move on to the next thing, and there's just so many new things coming out that commanders are getting left in the dust. So it feels like even though a lot of these decks, we can say that they're dead or they're losing popularity, I don't think it's really necessarily because of meta reasons.
Yeah.
Some of it is just people moving on and losing interest and falling to the new shiny toy.
Yeah, food chain still layers well with console.
I mean,
but there's the first sliver,
yes,
which
but
is
it,
like the best
it
outcome
does.
here.
I mean, let's be honest, it still does have like very real weaknesses, and there's a reason why it's falling out of favor. It's because like you're slower than the fastest turbo decks. You still lose to Rule of Law. You still lose to like Ristic Study, and it's like you don't. The only thing that you bypass that isn't bypassed by traditional stuff is like it's good, but people are typically playing Rule of Law with Oob. I don't know.
Kind of a very thin slice of the meta, I suppose.
Yeah. Anyway, I will say, yeah, like I feel like in terms of at least content creation, we're definitely probably biggest on that front. I'm not sure about like actual number of active players.
Legacy events are I mean, if you look at challenges struggling to fire, people have to sign up with multiple accounts to fire on like Moto. I mean, paper events have generally been dead because of COVID. But
yeah, I mean that's just
the legacy scene also does seem to be, from what I've heard, shrinking. And one thing you can do is you can compare. I mean, it's not you can't obviously do this completely because the CDH community is very online. But if you compare, for instance, subreddit sizes or Discord sizes, like I think the Gitrog server is bigger than any single legacy server, which is like obviously a small portion of the greater CDH community, like let alone like the main CDH subreddit Discord server. Like, yeah, it seems that by most metrics, the CDH community has grown past the legacy community, and I think it kind of just makes sense because I mean EDH is the biggest format in Magic, most popular format, and there's just such a natural onboarding process from casual, mid power, high power EDH into CDH, and it really just doesn't seem like that's the case for Legacy. Like, no. I mean, you played Modern for a long time, and you're like, are you working your way towards Legacy? And you see, oh, I need to spend how much money to buy a playset of LEDs or to buy my duels? Like, it's just
I think the first
just a big barrier to entry.
The first explanation in my mind is proxies, like just so easy, and Legacy is like more often than not sanctioned, and so doesn't mix.
I mean, at this point, I feel like it's just because it's centralized on Motive, like while less expensive than it's
still expensive
and online.
Even
with card rental services, and even that, like, what person just getting into Magic for the first time, or even like having played on, like, if you're getting into Magic from playing on Arena, like, what's going to force you to, like, or motive you go into Motive, buy a subscription to a card rental service and then rent a Legacy deck and go, like, it's just hard to justify.
Good thing Commander is impossible to play on Moto without like a
Yeah, so
like a
it actually
60-inch
just
4K
don't have
monitor.
that problem.
I was listening to
Just unplayable.
a legacy podcast recently, and they were talking about how, or one of the guys was wondering about like EDH on Moto, because obviously as legacy players they're very into Moto, and one of the hosts was explaining, he's like, the EDH and CDH community are just not even like, Moto is alien. Everything is all paper and webcam, and you know, like, good luck trying to get any EDH players to fire games on Moto, because no one has Moto collections. And it really is interesting how the communities are so kind of separated in that way, where one is just completely paper and webcam,
they're so close in some ways as well, though, right? Like,
yeah,
like you're both like eternal format players. I know a lot of CDH players who have interest in Legacy, who play Legacy, and like there are a lot of like Legacy content creators who have tried CDH, or like people who have like moved the other direction. So it's interesting that they're so far apart, and yet the communities are still like sort of relatively close.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. I really do think it has to do with that we basically get to leech off of EDH. Like,
100%,
the EDH players going and progressing up in power levels to a CDH is just, that's the natural process. That's how almost all of us got into CDH. That's how most people, when you ask them how they got into CDH, it's like, well, I started playing with my Marin deck, and the next thing you know, I'm doing combo bullshit. Like that I just think that Legacy lacks that, and I don't know how they can fix it. I know some people are trying to do a lot more like pro proxy things, but yeah, there's only so much you can do.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the Legacy hour on the podcast.
So we got all right, I'm gonna look through some of the responses that we got for dead decks and see what we got here. Some Curious Control. It's sort of dead. I have an experimental version that I have sitting around, but I haven't really had time to test it or press it for a bit. I do think that like there's a version of Curious Control that's good right now, but it's not the one that's on the database. Probably taking that one off because I'm maintaining it, and I don't think it's actually good. But there is a version that is good. It just needs to be found and refined a bit more. Let's see. Is it decks have dropped off the map? I guess. We've seen some
Is it?
Is it? Has it?
No, I mean like Karkashima.
Yeah. I mean, like, so we've gotten some new ones, but we've also seen like a lot of the like old historical ones drop off. But yeah, I agree. Like, we have like Karkashima is relatively new. We have like Malcolm
Riel's
Breaches,
still fine.
Riel,
Better than
Vadric
ever.
is new. Yeah, it's just like the old ones sort of going away, and that's sort of, I feel like that's to be expected for a lowish power color combination, in terms of raw power, which is weird to say because they are two relatively good colors, but it's just they don't really mesh together in a coherent way without some binder in the command zone. Paco Halden. Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think that deck's pretty definitively dead. I don't know. All right, we're caught up.
See, I hate declaring dead, or like I hate the idea of just declaring decks dead, because it falls into the meme that we make fun of the medium green is dead. I know, it's
paradoxical because for it to be dead, it would have to not be remembered, and we're remembering it. So there you go. You can never be sure.
You just have to.
I cry every night thinking about medium green and Paco Halden. Yeah, so next up we have new high impact cards. So here we're going to talk about some new cards from this year, innovations, new innovations in tech, and best decks that we think, or what we think the best decks are at end of year. So let's go over new cards first. So there is a lot of new cards to cover, or that we could cover in over the past year. But one that I wanted to talk about is not one that I think was like especially dominant in the meta or anything like that. I just think it's subtly very strong. I mean, it's not even subtly very strong. It's very strong, but not a lot of decks can run it. Lots of decks would love this kind of effect. Okay, the card is Dress Down. So
Maybe put it up with
I was like, have you set the card yet?
yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
realized I
yeah.
was kind of just kidding.
Has your opinion been
so
colored yet?
Dress Down, basically, when it's working well, is 2 mana Cyclonic Rift that also draws you a card. It is insane.
Wow.
That's the close to the ceiling of it when you're trying to
If
remove
you say it
multiple
like
stacks
that.
pieces. And it's
Until-
unlike a Psych Rift or something.
Until somebody
It's
has
much easier to defend.
actual factual rule of law in play, and then all bets are off.
Yes, yeah. Enchantments, I mean, especially because the decks that are running Dress Down tend
Are
not to be
mono
in green.
blue and isn't and can't remove a rule of law.
Well, yeah. So the thing is Dress Down can only really fit into decks where your win con is non-creature dependent. So I've been playing Dress Down a lot in Riel because you just get to do dumb breach stuff, or you could run it in Turbo Nas or something dependent on the build.
It's a card that sort of makes Teferi better than Urza in some ways. You can slam a Dress Down, still combo.
But yeah, so I hesitate to say that it's underexplored. Maybe there's some decks that could go to their way to find a slot for Dress Down, but yeah, I've just been very pleased to see a card like this that's filling a niche of mass bounce or mass removal of stacks that seems kind of just well balanced and interesting. Yeah, I've been really pleased with Dress Down.
Makes sense. Matt, what you got?
Yeah. So I've got Esper Sentinel as my new hot card, which is, I think Lennon has a bit more of a substantial take, but I wanted to bring it up because of how far off I was on my initial assessment of the card. Like, I originally read it as, the most excusable tax effect that you would actually pay for. And I was like, okay, if there's any card that people are going to actually pay for, it's going to be this one. But once again, I'm just surprised. And
People, Matt, you need to learn that people never pay for anything.
they don't care to pay. But okay. In all seriousness, though, my point of view even kind of turns around in the specific episode. But the counter war argument, when there's multiple spells that have to go in the stack, I severely underestimated how impactful that is in a game. So yeah.
So I mean, I haven't gone back to listen to the clips where we talk about Esper Sentinel. I do remember being the one who was the most adamant defender and supporter of Esper Sentinel. I remember Matt I think you were the biggest hater, and then Morgan and Reed were kind of middling on it. Where I forget, there was some comparison. Was it Morgan and Reed who you guys were comparing it to Curse Catcher or something? Whatever.
Isn't
We
that
could
your
anyway. If you
that might
guys
have been
want to,
mine. Anyway,
if you guys want to go back and listen to that, go for it. But after we had done that episode and I was shilling Esper Sentinel and talking Esper Sentinel with a friend of the show, Zach, who is lighting up our Twitch chat right now. We discussed Esper Sentinel and its merits a lot, and he had decided that he wanted to record some data to see just how impactful Esper Sentinel was. And thank you, Zach, for sharing this data with me before the show. So I have here about 20 recorded games. So not just games where Esper Sentinel appeared. They're just 20 games that Zach happened to record. And he'd mentioned to me that out of the games that the 30, 40 games he'd played, he had definitely missed quite a few games, even some where Esper Sentinel appeared. So this is just what we have. So in the games where it is in his opener, and he plays it on turn 1, he is drawing. We have one game where he drew 19 cards and taxed people for 5 total mana.
Who are the opponents? Please write the.
That ratio is just so hilariously out of whack for.
Yeah. Zach has some interesting notes Notes for this game. Fucking no respect. First game. I believe this was the first game you'd played with Esper Sentinel, so I guess people, we're still a little.
It's just the easiest one to respect. Like, I just can't
Yeah.
believe, like, it's just so easy to respect this one.
Yeah, so I'll read out some more. Oh, we've got so here we've got turn 2. He plays it, draws 3 cards, taxes 2, and then notes he got Hull Breachered, so he couldn't draw any more cards. No longer a problem for Esper Sentinel. We've got plays it on turn 1, draws 5 cards, taxes for 2, draws 5 cards, taxes for 0, draws 5 cards, taxes for 2, draws 6, tax for 3. Later on, we don't see numbers like 19 anymore, but we've got like 8, 7, 4, 12, 5, 3, 2, like just a lot of value for a single one mana permanent. And those are just the draws. Of course, you're still getting a mana advantage from taxing your opponents. And unlike I'm not going to try and compare this straight up to like Mystic Remora, but it for a one mana permanent that draws you a bunch of cards, it also does not have that continuous upkeep mana investment cost. So really extremely powerful card, which I think I feel vindicated in my appraisal for it, but I think largely it's just very strong, powerful card that came out this year, and just going to be a staple for the format for the rest of time.
And that was all brought up explicitly to extract an apology out of Matt, right, for his initial downplaying of the card.
Dude,
Well, I need to get my wins in early because of all the Arcane Denial hate that you guys continuously shovel on me. So, I gotta take my victories while I can.
I would say it's far more accurate to say that you're shoveling it on yourself, but we'll continue.
Someone's got to fight the good fight, man. Someone's got to try
It's
and
not a
and
good
make
fight,
people's
and
decks
you don't
better
have to fight it
by playing Arcane Denial. I just want people to play better decks. Okay.
Anyway,
Having your decks by playing
all the way
Arcane
up until
Denial.
that last part.
my new cards for the year are actually the new dorks. I think they're sort of unsung heroes of some of the stuff. Like maybe not super like high. What is it? Because they are high impact, but like low visibility, I guess. But relatively high impact. Mostly just Ignoble Hierarch and Ragavan, I think. But yeah, I mean they're good. Ragavan. I do count it as a dork. That's why I have new dorks plural in here, not new dork. Yeah, I mean I think they're just super good. I think Ignoble Hierarch is. I think it has low visibility because people aren't playing dorks right now when they definitely should be. It's actually sort of insane to be able to have the extra dork in those colors now, especially like the additional off-color dork, of birds, Elves of Deep Shadow, Deathrite Shaman, Ignoble Hierarch, and then you can add in more if you need to. And then if we're counting Ragavan as well, like five color dorks or 5 like off-color dorks, which is sort of insane for Jund decks or anything like that. Yeah, I just think they're like basically staples at this point. Obviously there's not as much Ragavan as Ignoble Hierarch because, or like in those types of decks anyway, because Ragavan isn't super consistent, but I still think it's pretty good. Done a lot of work. Obviously Morgan can never win against a Ragavan, so I'm gonna continue putting it in decks that can play it.
Hey, I'll have you know, I won the game that you hit my stupid
You did.
shit. Or it wasn't even you, it was somebody
Pongo.
else. But
I made the call though.
it's like, make a bad attack. Okay. Hits Shrieking Drake is immediately rewarded. I guess.
You forgot
pretty neat.
Ornithopter of Paradise.
I did forget Ornithopter of Paradise. I think I also forgot what's his name? The thingy, Keeper of the Grove. No, not Keeper. The Enchantress one. There was some good dorks this year.
Sanctum Weaver?
That's the one, Sanctum Weaver. Yeah, we got some good dorks this year. I think they're all pretty nice. It's always nice to get a wider variety of dorks so that we're not having to like it's nice to get to a point where you can start cutting the mono green dorks from your multicolor decks, because it was always sort of an iffy part of the dork mana base, and I'm not sure how healthy it is, but it just from like a playing those decks standpoint, it's nice to be able to cut some of those because again, always an awkward part of dork mana bases is that you end up with all this green mana when that isn't necessarily what you want, but it's like the best acceleration you can get access to. So yeah, I mean, just being able to cast your black spells and red spells is nice.
Morgan, you with us, buddy?
Sure am. Yeah,
Tea break?
my card for the year has to be Urza's Saga. That card is crazy. It's like obviously it's one of those things that's super strong to play on turn one, because you could just like it means your turn 3 is potentially like a 6 mana turn 3 purely off the back of Urza's Saga. But also like unlike super mana accelerant temporary mana accelerant utility lands, it's not like the literal worst thing ever to draw in a long game or in a drawn out game. There are lots of different like tech options you can find. It's found a lot of Grafdigger's cages in our play group for sure.
A lot.
Nice.
It also makes huge dudes in long games.
It makes huge dudes. It's found the occasional Voyager's staff.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah,
that's
or
exactly what I
like
like to see.
there's like some neat stuff you can find, and the fact that it can make the dudes is also like huge. You just have to remember not to play it into Bloodman.
Yeah, I brought this up ages ago about Allosaurus Shepherd, and again last year with Jeweled Lotus, but I'm just a fan of cards that increase the power of lower color decks without giving more tools to higher color decks, and I think Urza Saga is a great example of a card that fits that description to a T.
Yeah, I mean it's I actually like building more power into mana bases going forward. Obviously it's like that type of design is terrible for 1v1, so I don't expect to see a lot of it going forward. But I think actually a lot of those types of lands turn out really healthy in CDH just because like the one area of difficulty you could say in multicolored decks is the mana base, and it's not difficult to make your mana, but you don't like the concession for multicolored decks at this point is that you can't fit utility lands in, and the more powerful utility lands that are printed I think is probably a healthy thing, because it just gives inherent power to low color decks, and just like gives you like just this inherent compensation for playing a low color commander.
And we've seen one spoiler from one of the spoiler lands from Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, I think. Which I think the idea is it's probably gonna be a cycle, which is the Grandeur.
Look at this again.
It's a land that has Grandeur, I think.
The Takanuma.
Yeah, the one that legendary land, tapped for a color, comes into play untapped, I believe, and it has discard this card for whatever cost. I think it's like 3 and a black. Return target creature from your graveyard to your hand. So I mean, at that cost, probably not many CDH decks want it. Maybe there are some that would, but the prospect that maybe we might get something playable on a different color land from this cycle is definitely intriguing.
Yeah.
Okay, so on to innovations/tech. I mean, honestly, so it was not too hard to come up with a new card, but innovation/tech and then best deck end of year. I was like, ugh. So I just wrote mono blue just to pat myself on the back, toot my own horn. Whatever, it's no, I yeah. Generally, I just think that going back to more older decks and typically lower color decks that have been around for a while and have just they've got a little bit of dust on them and they need a little bit of cleaning up. I think that's something that I've been enjoying doing, and I think that's something that maybe some more people should do as well. Yeah, I think there's lots of you don't have to get that tickle or like scratch that itch for deck brewing and innovation purely from the new shiny commanders. A lot of times it can be very rewarding to go back and reimagine something that's been put on the shelf for a long time. So yeah, I'll definitely recommend that to anyone out there who's interested.
Yeah, 100%. Also, like that was sort of the line of thinking that got me to Yorian as well. Like, maybe not that, but it's like you'd be surprised at like if you go and look at the back catalog of commanders, you'd be surprised there are some pretty powerful ones out there that like people just actually haven't worked on in any real capacity. So go find those and build them. And then
Yeah, but not the ones that I'm
whatever.
working on because
Yeah, none of
those are my special decks, and go find your own.
Dibs.
Okay.
Dibs.
Uh,
Slightly not really at all related to that is my answer to innovation/tech, which is also an uninspired cop-out answer because this was a difficult section, is drawing cards. Believe it or not, Hull Breacher was banned this year, and you can now draw cards again.
You're
I
allowed to draw
remember.
cards.
But the segue works because it does actually enable a lot of those random brews that you probably didn't bring to a table because they drew too many cards. Like, well, except for Lyndon, like Riel.
Riel, Baral, lots of decks that
Actually,
I got to play again when
non-functional
Hull
under
Breacher was
Breacher.
banned. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess
Hey man, you played this when it was legal. It was just
Yeah.
a time. Yep, that was the time, all right.
my tech for next year is Notion Thief.
Hot. Actually, not very hot because I feel like
Not
we've been
hot.
playing a lot of that in QMTG at least. But yes, people should be playing more Notion Thief. I agree.
Yeah, QMTG is always ahead.
Oh yeah, by at least 6 months. Fun. Yeah, I think my innovation tech for this year has probably just been. I think it's Crafter's Cage. At least at the end of this year. I feel like it's just super powerful at shutting most of the stuff in the meta off, and it comes down super early, and you can get it off of Urza Saga, and it's just disgusting because it stops it. Like the big one for me is that it's a hate piece that like if you're playing in the meta rotation to try to beat stuff, aside from all the stuff that we like to play, you're sort of in like you're either like turbo stacks / mostly Winota and then mid range. And if you're in mid range, like you're sort of beating up on stacks, but theoretically have to concede some matchup points to turbo in order to like actually have a good matchup against stacks. Like obviously you can still have interaction, but you're giving up some percentage points. Crafter's Cage just doesn't because it hits both Breach and Winota like incredibly hard and just stops a bunch of stuff that people want to do and is incredibly cheap and I feel like is underplayed. So Crafter's Cage, that's my pick.
Nice.
I guess yeah, it's me. My innovation is Ranger Captain and to a lesser extent Grand Abolisher. These were sort of ticking up in popularity towards the end of last year, but I think sort of they were mostly seen in like the more turbo type decks, or Ranger Captain was played in decks where like you had something really good to find. But then over the course of this year, like we saw them be added to decks like Timna Crom, which like I think is maybe a little bit too far, but then becoming more of a staple in 4-color decks, like being played in Thrasios Timna or stuff like Blue Pod. It's just a crazy powerful, like the silence effect that you can launch whenever you need it, and that powerful rattlesnake ability. I think it's really come into its own, especially with the printing of some very powerful 1-drops to find off it. Certainly didn't
aforementioned as per Sentinel and Dorks.
Yeah, I guess I'd also throw like Malevolent Hermit and Allosaurus Shepherd. Just like proactive ways of fighting counter magic.
You want a good discussion on Ranger Captain? Go find our episode where I think it was like a mini topics where I think my mini topic was pseudo stacks. I think I did. I've referred back to that conversation.
Is it
quite a bit?
Grab bag number 2.
Grab bag number 2. Okay. Anyway, I think that was a great discussion on why something like Ranger Captain, even though it's a one-shot effect, can have an impact on the game very similar to a more static effect like a Rule of Law. But yeah, and obviously can do things beyond that and be much better. Long-time fan of Ranger Captain. Happy to see that it's being ticking up in popularity. Cool. So next up, we've got our best decks end of year, and I wrote, "I don't know, man. Play what you want." Which I mean, I haven't been too in tune with the like tournament meta, the top tier meta, because I mean, my involvement in CDH, which has been fallen off a bit recently, has just mostly still been focusing on my own decks and brews and things like that, and not focusing too much on the broader meta, which I think that's how a lot of players engage with CDH, and it ain't that bad, man. Just do what you enjoy. Not much to it.
Checks out.
Nice. Well, I know we've talked about Grafdigger's Cage, but as far as I'm concerned, the graveyard is still very free. And what's the some people's best graveyard deck? That's Razakats. Plain and simple. Also,
it's
can't go
appeared
wrong.
multiple times on our best decks end of year. I'm pretty
For
sure.
like last year as well, yes.
Was it did it get the year before that as well, or just last
It
year?
probably did. Razakets is perpetually in a
No.
state of-
Flash Hulk was legal the year before that.
Oh, true.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Gonna say one more thing. Anyway, no, I think I'm done. It kind of speaks for itself. We've talked about it a ton this year.
Cats is pretty good. Who'd have guessed? I guess nobody in the community aside from the people on this podcast and like Taro. For me, I know I said Grafdigger's Cage is my tech of the year, but also Graveyard is still super free, and I think Hulk is actually in a very good position right now. It beats up on Rule of Law real bad, beats up, like, just doesn't care about tax effects, doesn't care about most stacks that people are playing, because, again, nobody's playing Rest in Peace, nobody's playing Grafdigger's Cage, even though they should be. Like, Minsk won a tournament, obviously, like, good into some metas. I feel like it can also be tuned in Partner's Shell to do even better into other metas. I think Hulk's just good right now. I think it needs to, like, people need to play it a bit more, but I think it beats up on a lot of the stuff that people are playing as, like, second level counters to like the base, like, turbo meta and like meta. So yeah, that's my pick.
I also went with Old Faithful Razakats. I mean, seems churlish to, get the results I've gotten with that deck and say anything else is the best deck. It's gives you a lot of flexibility. You can tech it for a meta, and like, it's just a deck that, like, I feel has a line to win every game you play. And it really rewards sort of like good decision making, and the flexibility of not just the deck but also the pilot. And survival continues to be a messed up Magic card, and possibly one of the most. Actually, no, I'm confident in saying it's one of the most underappreciated. Like how messed up that Magic card is.
Oh yeah,
cards
God.
that see play in CDH.
Rival's just
a lot of 2-mana green enchantments.
just super good, yeah.
Cool. So that wraps it up for our. The category was called New High Impact Cards, but it's it's kind of broader than that. Whatever. So we've got 2 more segments left before we wrap things up. So next up we've got meta trends, which while we were filling this out was
the Linden autofellatio segment.
Yeah, before we were about to hit record and start streaming, and this section was only filled out with my shit posts. So Yeah, meta trend number 1. I hear there's lots of buzz around Arcane Denial. I think it's a big up and coming card, and that's what I've been hearing. And then
How long until Lyndon realizes I server
He's
muted
muted.
him?
No, dude, come on. You're muted. That's not cool. Not cool.
I missed that, but
No,
yeah,
you're good.
okay,
Actually, people
Um,
are cutting cantrips from everything at this point, which actually
good.
is reasonable. I mean,
Yeah.
like there was a while where I think it was preemptive at the beginning of this year, where I think it was still probably correct to be playing Ponder,
I don't know.
or at least
That
like
seems
Well,
like the most.
I think
That seems like the
Esper
most.
legitimately has a lot to do with it.
yeah, no, 100%. It's just like it's not just Esper Sentinel, but also I feel like the general card quality is high enough at this point, especially having like I feel like the typical packages that you have some flex room in terms of I can like afford to not really play the like last third of this package because the cards aren't that great. I just like wouldn't need them to out. I feel like a bunch of those packages have been recently, like stuff like interaction has just like really solidified as like these playing. I feel like ramp is at this point just like it used to be like, do I want to play Grim Monolith? Like, how many Sigmets, how many Talismans do I play? At this point, I feel like we're at a point in a lot of decks, especially with stuff like Rogue Rack around, or just stuff like that in general, where it's like, yeah, like you have a pretty set number of like pieces that you all these packages, which means like the deck list is just a bit more set, and there's just less space for like the cantrips on. Also, I mean, the speed of the format has gone up a bit, which definitely impacts the.
Also, I feel like the best tutors in everyone's decks aren't all necessarily top tutors anymore. Like a long time ago, I think that was true, and cantrips were helpful in that sense. And then I don't know, it's like get over it. But that being said, like I would think that cantrips should have gone out early in the year when we actually had whole breacher around.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
guess now they're starting to come out. It's when they're really the most free that they've ever been. So I don't know.
Well, free in terms of inside of gameplay, but not in terms of deck building.
Yeah, no, I think
Necessarily.
there's deck building costs, and as well as there's just tempo costs. I think that the effect that they have on improving the your hand is often severely overstated in a CDH. But yeah, it's a conversation for another day.
Yeah, I just want to say I also think it's interesting that it might actually be that the variance is just too high for cantrips to actually be good. Like the thing that makes them good in a format like Legacy is that like you can pretty consistently find whatever effect you need off a ponder, and like you definitely can't do that in CEDH. So a hand that has a ponder in it has a lot of uncertainty.
By the way, we did lose. Get it back. Okay.
I didn't mute him this time. That's not my fault.
Didn't freeze. Yeah. Yeah, we'll give it a bit until he gets back. Yep.
Yeah, give it a sec.
Yep.
Hello?
We can hear you.
Can hear
Hooray.
you.
This time it wasn't me.
Yeah. Didn't disconnect him.
Yeah, so I guess the next one is that people are finally playing stacks. Like
Yeah.
there was
We
for
made
the
that
first few months of the year.
We made that prediction 2 years ago, right? That like people would be like, yeah, people are gonna start playing stacks now. Nope.
Hulk will be banned and people will play stacks. And then people were like, but I don't want to play stacks. And it's like, well, I guess you're gonna die to all in combo like a lot.
For like a year
about
straight.
18 months.
Yeah.
and
then we'll start playing stacks.
People are like, maybe we should take steps to prevent this. And then Turbonaz hasn't won a tournament since Cody won Tier 1 Con. It's been like 5 months of
Nice.
Half a year.
Some mid-rangey-ish stuff, some stacksy stuff. Good times.
I've lost Lyndon again.
Yeah.
Yo, guys, can you hear me? Or
yeah, we never got your video
okay,
back.
yeah, but my camera is just continuously
All right,
loading,
well,
so
I'll
figure it out.
We'll let you troubleshoot video, and we'll just continue on, I guess.
Yeah.
We'll
I guess the other thing that I said that has to sort of relate to that is turns out that head down and charge leads to slamming into a lot of walls.
Yeah, correct.
Juggernaut.
Fuck, I typed Lidden.
We knew what you meant. All right.
I tried to reload my.
alright.
Can you guys hear me? I tried to reload my camera and it just froze everything. So
Yeah, that's
I'm
fine. We'll continue.
Okay. So next up, we've got our predictions for 2021 that we're going to go over, and
Yeah,
then
we
we've
have
got
to
our
score.
predictions for 2022.
We gotta do some scoring. Do we remember what the points were for last year? We could probably
No.
check that. Let's
No.
actually let's.
We could check, if we're going on for a while. We can check that some other
That's
time.
fine.
I
We'll
think.
check it in.
Check,
Okay.
check plus, check minus.
So I'll go over what my predictions for last year were, and then I'll give myself a score on how accurate they were. So my first prediction was they will print at least another free counterspell and or misdirection in 2021. And they will print an asymmetrical rule of law in 2021. You know, it's very much
Oh, that's
a
hot.
doomer, pessimistic perspective, and you know, sad to say that all of my predictions came true.
Okay, no. Okay, I'm giving you half on the second one. The first one is a write-off. You're not getting points for that.
So they did print another free counterspell in 2021, and that card is Subtlety. It says
Not
counter
real.
target. It says counter spell on it, and then it is also something you can cast for free. 100%. And number two, I almost got. Thank you, Reed, for catching this one for me.
Yeah, no.
They did in
problem.
fact print an asymmetrical rule of law in 2021 called Moderation. For one, a white and a blue, you can't cast more than one spell each turn, and whenever you cast a spell, draw a card. So yeah, another 100%. I really nailed it.
Okay.
My peer review is a check minus and a check minus.
Yeah, I was about to say. I think it's got to be the rest of the pod has to score you on your predictions.
Correct.
And I think you've got it's either half a point or 2/3 of a point.
No, chat. Come on, bail me out here. I should get full points for this, right?
There's no
all
way
my
you're getting full
predictions
points.
are
I
technically
there's
true.
I feel like there's a coward penalty for not specifying playable.
Yeah, I would have given you a full point if you had just gone for moderation. I feel like, but you had to try to fit subtlety in there, and it just
Subtlety is
overall
literally a
argument.
free counterspell that
It's
came out
not.
this year. Okay, well, let's see how you guys fared.
I did terribly.
Oh yeah, no, same.
And I'm not gonna try to fit any sort of shove any card into this mold. All right, I figured there'd be a new commander which attacks the stack. That would have been cool. Too bad we didn't get that. And then also that we just get at least one generic 5-color, but in fact, 5-color commander. But in fact, we got one taken away.
Yeah,
So
we actually went
that was
net negative.
the
on
complete
5-color
opposite
commanders.
direction.
That's a negative point, right?
So, my points don't carry over into next year, so thank goodness.
Yeah, it's not a running total. All right.
That's me.
Yeah, I think I'll give you it's probably a negative point on that one just for the loss of Golos, unfortunately. For mine, I don't think I fared much better. My predictions from last year were that green will gain a new primary mechanic. I have no idea what I meant by this. I would have to listen to it last time.
I need your help.
We obviously did not get a new primary mechanic. Oh, actually, no, never mind. Sorry, you did go net neutral. We got Eska this year, or
There
Cody.
were 3 5-color
we did,
commanders
yeah.
printed this year. Of
We just didn't
varying
get it.
levels of playability.
We didn't get a generic one though, right?
Yeah.
We got Garth One Eye. He's pretty generic.
Oh, never mind. That is generic. Okay, all right. I'm upping you to a 0, just neutral, no points.
I'm not going to argue points away, but I don't
Saved
agree.
by Garth One Eye. Whoever thought?
New primary mechanic. Yeah, so there wasn't really much here. This isn't just I think we got Lyndon back. I think
Yep.
I think my prediction here wasn't about keywords. I think it was about like a new evergreen mechanic or like a new addition to Green's
Trample 2.
primary
Dude, it's-
color pie. And I
the
don't think we
Badlands
got
Yeah,
any of
I
those
think
this year.
I think I remember it being more that like
It
there's
was,
gonna
it was
be
more, yeah, like a part, like a piece, like, like, yeah. I'm remembering this now. It's like, I thought we were gonna get like an upgrade from like, how like artifact enchantment is primary in green, but it's like secondary in white, or like that kind of stuff. Like card draw is primary in blue, secondary in green, or like tertiary in green, or whatever.
Yeah.
I thought we were gonna get one of those upgraded to primary. We didn't.
Green was going to
because-
be even more gooder stuff.
Yes, because apparently
gooder
Mara
stuff.
just doesn't write those articles anymore. We just don't get our articles on Color Pie anymore, so we didn't get any of those. Next one was that Teamer was going to be the next color combination to be broken, which is like sort of iffy, but I wouldn't say that. I think the closest we got was probably Teamer Malcolm or maybe Rog Thrasios, but even then, iffy. So
Yeah.
and then the last one is that people still aren't going to figure out that you can play around Dockside. I think this is spot on, but I'll let the rest of the cast score this one.
I think you get like almost full marks for that one. I've definitely like had a few games where people sort of remarked that it was like, hey, we actually like didn't feed this Dockside a gabrillion treasures, but like you still get at least 0.9 out of 1 on that.
All right.
So
I'll take it.
so mine are both, I would say, mixed-ish bags. I said we will get a deck that can profitably play Hushbringer. I think that some of the stacks decks that we've seen have played it, like the Timna Kamal type stuff, but not a huge amount. Reads Sithis Brew. But in my meta,
more people play Sithis. It's not just me.
I feel like you were the one who was like, "Oh, we actually need to do something to address the Dockside problem," as opposed to just kind of ignoring it. Also, Reed has actually made this an evergreen take because as long as he's playing Yorion, literally any deck can profitably play Hush.
Also correct.
It's so free.
Yeah, see, Ira's actually in chat. Yeah, Ira did much more work in the undock-sideness of Sithis than I did.
All right. I don't know. I just remember like other people talking about him playing Sithis and not hearing about like, yes, this is all the anti-Dockside tech, and that was very much a focus for you. Maybe it was just that you were discussing it more. But anyways, my second prediction was that something will enable an anti-creature, anti-storm deck. And I mean, what is Essica if not?
I thought of Essica. I was like, Essica, dude, that's it.
So
That's
there's not a hugely popular one, but there was something of a meme brew of Tavesh Ishai that actually did this quite well.
I didn't even think
Played
that was a meme,
Humility.
it was just hot.
Was hot.
Super hot. I think I'll give you like half points for that one, actually. I think.
All right,
like reasonable.
fair. I'll take it.
The issue is that it was printed last year, so it's like only half, but yeah.
Yeah.
Also, like a pretty broad take. Like I feel like there's a high chance of success on that one.
I don't know. Like
it's half a point for the take, but the take's point is worth less overall than the other ones.
Something will enable these large categories of deck archetypes.
I mean, there are.
We're gonna get some lands, right? And
I feel like hating two reasonably different archetypes in the same deck is actually pretty uncommon.
Relatively.
Okay, we can make that an episode.
Okie dokie then. So now on to our predictions for 2022. And I'd kind of not thought about these. So
at all.
Mine were very half baked. Although so mine are less predictions and they're kind of like resolutions almost.
Yeah.
Because they're things that
New
are
Year's
directly under
resolutions.
my
All right.
control, basically.
All right.
And so really, it's about whether we'll come back next year and see whether or not these are true. So
You'll need to
first
evolve this
is
one.
I will make and publish a primer. So I've
Feels like a
tried.
cheat.
No, okay, you say that. I don't know if there's any Gitrog other more Gitrog people in the chat, but I don't know. I don't think I've shown you guys my attempted Gitrog primer, have I? I tried writing a
I
Gitrog
think
primer a while
so.
ago, and it just is. It was so in the weeds and like garbage. Like it was. I was talking. I'd written like 2 or 3 pages on like types of discard outlets, and the deck only like I'd classified a bunch of different types, and like the deck only ran like
Like 3.
one type.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it was completely like why
It's like
I don't know why I was
Putrid
doing
Imp,
this.
Wild Mongrel, Noose Constrictor, all the same discard outlet.
Yeah, no, it's like the only variance was the Chains of Mephistopheles, and there's like anyway, it was yeah a colossal failure. And I've had several primers or like collaborative primers make it somewhat far. I mean, I'd worked on a collaborative Cody primer with Keeb over the summer, and we got almost close to finishing that, and we kind of just like lost interest in Cody. But yeah, so I mean to finish a primer for Baral and some of my other mono blue decks, I think, this year. And so this is kind of my way of maybe forcing myself to make it happen. And then my second one, which is my it's that Arcane Denial will catch on to some extent. And really, this is just
That's
me
such a long
declaring
shot.
war
That's
on the
such a long
CEDH
shot.
community at large right now. Okay, I will make Arcane Denial catch on to some extent this year. There's time for not too many Arcane deniers out there. No, we need to be Arcane believers. Okay,
Oh
that's
god.
that's 2022, baby. Let's go.
I think there's a good Batman quote here. Something about staying around
parents
too
are
long
dead.
and you become the villain. No, not that one.
I think the issue is that we've just let Lyndon stew in his own brain juice for too long, and he hasn't been on the podcast for long enough. So this is the result.
I literally just logged into Noobs declaring war on the CDH.
No,
Noob-
no. That's you're not really
that's
missing
par
any
for the
context
course,
here.
yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Noobs is the underminer. He's always beneath us, for nothing is beneath him. He hereby declares war on peace and happiness.
Okay, yeah, so that's it for me. Matt, what about you?
My first one is looking forward to reading Lyndon's primer. So this is more of a resolution. and finishing and then.
Your prediction is that Lyndon won't finish a
I
primer.
hope you like 3 pages on why Arcane Denial is the best counter spell, because
Dude, if
it's gonna be in all my primers.
If it's written down, then I'll be happy. Okay, next up, 4-color will fall out of favor. I feel like this is just a carryover of Year of the Brew. So we'll see more brews and more cool stuff that aren't just 4-color partner bullshit. And to follow it up, we'll also get a strong 2-color legend that's at least fringe playable. I'll write that specifically.
Dude, that's like
that's a
0 out
soft
of
take.
10 effort.
That's a
dude.
soft
Okay,
take.
fine.
You have to at least narrow it down to
least-
like a color combination,
Or
a new 2-color legend,
or like a strategy.
That draws cards.
as a significant tournament result.
Oh.
That's
Okay.
That's
all right.
spicy.
All right. Yeah.
Not a
that's-
first. Doesn't have to be a first, but something like wow, cool.
So and this is a new 2-color legend.
Is it a
Yeah.
new one or like any 2-color legend having a tournament?
No,
New
strong
one,
new
okay,
2-color
all
legend.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, what if we get a weak new 2-color legend that happens to have a significant tournament result?
Go win a tournament result.
You know what? The
I'd give
segment is
that
starting
full
to
points
get.
for that. I give full points for
It's starting to get a bit more about the the wording,
that.
considering our answers to the last one. But yeah, you get it. It's there.
All right.
All right, Reed.
Okay, so the first one here that I have here is I actually truly believe that Cody is going to spike another tournament in 2022. It's going to be like, actually, I'm not going to give a time frame because people are going to like, you're going to look back on this and then prepare for that time frame. It's going to be at some point. I just feel like I feel like we're at the point now where the meta is going to cycle enough within a year that we're probably going to get to a point in time where Cody, like, the conditions are right for Cody to win again, because the conditions aren't that stringent. Like, it really just has to be like, you can't have consistently have like both a dedicated early stacks deck and a dedicated interactive blue deck in the same pod at once. And that's like, you can even run into that one time in a tournament and still win the tournament. So I feel like the conditions are still doable. Zach, I'm not playing against. I'm not playing.
I was gonna say, Zach makes a good point. Is this you taking a similar approach to me, where you're declaring that you're gonna take down a tournament with with Cody again?
I'm not saying that I'm doing it. I'm saying that, like, I think that it's very reasonable that there is going to be a meta game where like Cody can spike the tournament, and I think it's reasonable for it to happen. I'm not being broad about this because I wanted to make it a real resolution. The broader version of this is, like, hyper dedicated turbo is going to take down a tournament, but that's too easy. It's gonna be. I think it's gonna be Cody. And then second one here is, I think, the next broken 2-color commander. Maybe not next.
Oh.
Like, I think one of the top 3 broken 2-color commanders printed next year is going to be in Orzhov.
That is
Oh,
actually
shit.
spicy. That's
Dude.
I like that.
I
We
think it's
can
gonna be
both win
Orzhov.
here.
Yeah,
we can
exactly.
both win here.
But there's slightly different
or
things. but
you
I
go
think-
down
yeah.
together, man.
Yeah.
I think, like, let's not narrow it down to top thing. It's like one of the broken like 2-color commanders printed this year is gonna be Orzhov.
Okay.
All right.
Cool, respectable.
All right.
No.
My 2. We will get a new playable commander agnostic win con that is at least as strong as Wither Chain.
That's oh my
Alright.
god. Actually, just
No,
delete that, man.
That's reasonable. Wither Chain is, like, not bad. That is,
It's actually terrible.
it's 4
It's
mana, 2
actually
cards,
terrible.
and 2
That
colors.
combo sucks. It's a really like
But
Chain of
it's
Smog
a
is terrible.
It's a 4-mana 2-card combo
That
Like,
dies
it's a
to
4
literally everything and makes you hellbent in the process.
Okay, so we need something that
The bar is
Something
so
that's better than
low.
that.
It's
Okay.
so low.
It plays through Graphica's Cage.
okay. I don't know. I didn't want to specify like specific parameters, but I'm not like, if there's something that's like a 7-mana 2-card combo, like I don't think like Kiki Pestermite like counts as something that's just better than Wither Chain. Like,
I don't know, man. I might actually count that as better than Wither Chain.
That's so dumb. No
Okay.
way.
I am
Reed-
very, very
Reed
low.
knows
on
what I
color. It's
mean.
bad.
Yeah,
And, like,
yeah.
you
In
guys
terms of just
have
mana efficiency, card, like, card
yeah,
efficiency.
you can
like,
call
yeah.
me like, it might be slightly less mana. Like if it's like a 5-mana 2-card combo that doesn't make you hellbent, like I'm counting that. But if it's
Also,
a
how
7-mana,
can you restrict the number of cards in
No.
the combo? Because, dude, every year there's a new combo with you can just mix and match cards. Come
Sure,
on,
with like 2
2 cards?
non-existing
3
cards,
cards?
or is it like 1 new card that combos with an existing card that doesn't already have a combo?
I mean, it could combo with a card that already has a combo, but represent,
But in a different
substantial
way?
improvement
Sure.
to it.
Okay, yeah, fine.
Oh yeah, so it is like a mechanically new. It is similar to the Wither Chain combo where it's kind of like a mechanically new way. It's not just like they printed another
I
Felidar
honestly
Guardian to
didn't-
combo with something.
I didn't put that much thought into it, but yeah, I'm not gonna count like we got a 1-mana Kiki bottom. Like that doesn't count.
Yeah, okay.
And then my second prediction is that we will get a ban with a substantial impact on CEDH.
Ooh, hot one.
Don't know if it's going to be Thoracle or Dockside or something else, but
Damn.
Okay, so
Not an
like
unban.
substantial, not like so yeah. Obviously, Hull Breacher would have counted.
Hull Breacher definitely would have counted.
yes.
Golos have
Golos
counted?
would not have.
Would have been a stretch.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Would you say
Yeah,
Golos is a
does
half
not
point?
fit substantial.
Sure, Golos would have been a half point.
Okay.
But
Mm.
This is
No.
something we didn't mention that at all in this episode, did we? Of Golos being banned this
No,
year.
we did because it went against my prediction of. there
Oh,
being
that's
a
right. Okay,
generic
you said prediction.
color.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a big thing that happened this year. That
I mean,
I kind of felt strongly about.
big
that. I
is
think that was
relative. It was.
I mean, it's big for EDH. I think
For
like
EDH,
very
yeah,
very
for-
big for EDH.
For CDH, it's like, unless you're
I think
Have to be building
it speaks
a
to
full
their
art, foil artist proof only Golos.
yeah poor natural crunch. Poor Austin. But no, I think it speaks to their the kind of philosophy they have, where it almost feels like the Golos ban was not fully like this, but it almost felt like a bit like nothing is safe, right? Like the most popular commander on EDH Rec didn't have wasn't like as broken or as feels bad to the extent of something like Leovold, but it was definitely strong. It and it has been around for a long time, so it really seems like they're just willing to do things like that, and I think that set a precedent that could be.
I mean, I
felt
think if
in
you
CDH
actually
eventually.
read what they said about that,
I know we're not going to get back into this. I knew this was going to start shit again. I was trying to be very careful with how I phrase things because I know we'd gotten into this before. But
I love how like you're not the one making doomer predictions now, despite
Yeah.
interpreting that in the most doomer way possible.
I mean, I have doomer predictions, but I'm just trying to win. That's why I pick things that I can I can control. So yeah, we'll see. Okay, so that
Cool.
actually wraps it up for our main topics. So we've got a bit of time for comments from chat. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, as we say in the outro of the episode, so send them. If they're stupid shit posts, we'll
live
ignore
listener
them.
questions. Great.
Let's be real, we'll definitely react to stupid shit posts.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, that's true.
How do you feel about proxies going into 2022? I'm assuming that's aimed at Lyndon.
Yeah, why? Why is that aimed at me? I like proxies.
Because you hate proxies or something?
Where's this narrative coming from?
What? Don't you remember you got into an argument with a person who was like, I think proxies are good, and you were like, no. I may be summarizing a little bit.
That doesn't help. Sorry, Morgan.
Literally ringing no
Oh my
bells,
God.
but
Snooze
I'll take it.
Snooze,
Oh,
you need
you know
to
what?
delete that comment and go hide because Morgan's gonna go fucking ham on you.
Oh god. 2020 Imp Seal reprint. Well, that would make Zach feel justified, but unfortunately, now that Zach has sold his Imperial Seal, it's not getting reprinted for like another 10 years.
Never.
So,
Yeah.
it's basically RL.
All of Gemstone. I think it's bad. I think that unless you're playing it exactly like 5 color stacks meta where nobody actually has interaction anyway, then it's like just terrible.
Yeah.
Do you think anti-meta Gadok Teague might become a real deck? No, because there's like 3 spells that it hits.
It doesn't even stop breach. Like that's like baseline for stopping turbo. Is like literally anything stops breach, and he doesn't even stop breach.
Oh my god. What? Relic Amulet. Just a relic
2022
amulet.
year with the rest of the cast is viewer deck choice challenge.
Can we get
Oh,
one
yeah.
host solo podcast episodes in 2022? I mean, if people really want them, they
they
sound
want it,
very
yeah.
easy to make.
Yeah, low production value, but I mean, if people want them, we'll do them.
Those
Might
be
have a
my
hard
100%.
time.
Can I
Rogue
ask,
Linton
like,
into it, but
why? This isn't part of like. I mean, I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I enjoy listening to the back and forth of the hosts more than someone monologuing for an hour.
Yeah, but
Is there a particular reason why you're interested in that, or
there are a fair number of like single person podcasts.
oh,
like,
you just want 3 hours of arcane denial ramblings ASMR.
Well, no, but,
I
like,
see.
if-
Look, you guys can just say more episodes without Lyndon. You don't
about this?
have to disguise.
How about this? We can make it all work. Lyndon releases his primer in audiobook format.
there you go.
Can I play against you with anti-metagenic
It's
if I
actually-
win the podcast episode gets made on it? Yes, no.
Yeah, it's actually going to be the Lyndon tapes, which is just collective ramblings of Lyndon on Arcane Denial.
Yeah, man. And that's how it's gonna catch on. You guys, I've just tricked you into letting me talk about Arcane now for 3 hours on the podcast. So doesn't matter if you guys aren't there. We're putting it out there, and that's it. That's gonna be the trend.
If you spend 3 hours talking about Arcane Denial, I will publish it on our channel, but I will not edit it. So
yeah, no,
Checks
fair
out.
enough.
Dude, I
I've
would
definitely
love to
already
do-
spent more than that talking about Arcane Denial in all kinds of VCs. So it's not even a challenge.
Yeah.
We're good.
Love more streams like this where the community can bring in hot takes for discussion
Yeah.
live. I mean, we can certainly do more live podcast recordings. It would probably just end up not being like we probably wouldn't record the video. Like the video would just be live, but we'd just be like our normal recording process.
mid-year review. Sounds
Yeah.
fine to me.
We also do patron only live podcast recording stuff.
Yeah.
Could potentially be a good idea. Just I don't know how you do private podcast or like private live streams though.
there's
Like
got
this.
just. I feel like Patreon might just let you do that.
They might. Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that'd be pretty neat. Yeah,
Or
I
just
mean let
make a
us
secret Twitch channel
Unlisted
know.
YouTube stream or something.
or
We'd
like
also-
a Discord stage.
Oh
also-
my god, I forgot they added that feature. What the heck?
we could transition over the early what's it called
Premiere.
well no we could like sunset the early patrons and put it over to a live stream. I've noticed that we don't get a lot of views. Let us know if you actually use that feature, but I find that we actually don't get a whole lot of utilization on early. Check it
I'm
out,
honestly
all
just
things.
not sure if YouTube might not like count the metrics properly for unlisted videos.
I mean potentially, but also like the patron. Whatever.
Yes.
I mean, sorry for anybody like listening being concerned that we're gonna drop this perk. Like it's not just like we're just gonna drop this perk without replacing it with something cool.
And
this
if
was
you
on
guys, yeah, certainly we'll ask, and if people don't want us to, we won't. We were just,
yeah.
New patron perk idea. So I do record the 3-hour Arcane Denial episode, but we chop it up into
10-minute
bits.
segments. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we distribute them randomly among our patrons, and then they
Top-tier
have to
patrons.
work together to reassemble it. And then the reward at the end is that they get to appreciate Arcane Denial. So I think that's a good replacement potential.
mint some NFTs. I'm totally
Oh
not
my
down.
god, NFTs! Let's go.
We're not minting NFTs.
No, I think this is the future, man.
You're
just
not
don't-
minting
just-
NFTs.
If you, I
I
swear
will
to
be
God,
very
if any of you right click our NFTs, I'm gonna fucking lose it, man. Okay, that's not cool.
dude,
You,
fucking private sign, do not read. NFTs in a nutshell.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a good place to call this episode.
Yeah,
Um,
I will. We're probably. I don't know.
No, go
Just
check.
do the.
I was
outro
gonna say
and talk
after. I mean,
afterward.
I'm gonna be hanging out on the Frog server after this for anyone who wants to try and debate me using facts and logic on Arcane Denial.
Make sure
you
to
will
press
get
record.
you will
Guys,
get
facts
destroyed.
don't care
I mean,
about you.
let's actually use the Into the North voice channel for this and actually pull people in there because just do that.
Or we could,
Guys, let's just scrap
Not.
the podcast and just make like a debate bro show.
Yo, let's go. Okay, well, anyway, that about wraps it up for this episode. If you guys would like to reach out to us with any questions, comments, or concerns, you can contact us on Twitter at Into the North Pod via our email, intothenорthpodcast@gmail.com, or on our Discord server, the invite link for which can be found in the description for this episode. Extra special thanks to all of our patrons who help cover the expenses for our show and allow us to work towards improving the quality of the podcast. If you too would like to become a patron, we are at patreon.com/IntoNorthPodcast. Thank you as always to the band Vox Cadre for our lovely podcast music, to Nate Slover for our equally lovely podcast logo, and to our long-suffering podcast editor, Morgan. This is a bit outdated.
Oh, sorry, I copied it from last time.
Next episode will be out in 2 weeks. Until then,
Good shit.
see ya.
Bye.
We have a template for a reason, Reed.
Bye.